Alright, session 1 of Beyond the Rim. We're going to start with the group of you having been assigned by the Pike Syndicate, since many of you work for them either part-time or have previously. You have been told by the Pike Syndicate that you are being assigned a ship. It's a YV-560, and your mission is to go to a space station known as the Wheel. Several of you have been there previously. But on the Wheel, you are going to meet with a Twi'lek named Roam, who runs a small cyber tech company called Isotech, because he has a job for you, and the Pike Syndicate is really interested in making a partnership with this gentleman. So they're doing him a favor and calling in all of y'all's debts to be the cannon fodder on this particular mission. So all of you have been assigned the sweet cheeky Minot there, and you guys are loaded up, and for the next 3 days we'll be hyperspace traveling to the Wheel. So let's do either character introductions individually out of character, or if you guys want to just get right to role playing and be on the ship, knock yourselves out, ready, go.
I'm a furry little guy that always hangs out next to the blue Twi'lek. I don't really say much, but when I do say stuff, it's in a very high-pitched, shrill voice.
You will be,
That's
of
about
course, using that voice for the entirety of the campaign, correct?
I thought I already was.
I think you might might be a little deaf. What's your
Hey guys, I'm Tal. I am the blue Twi'lek that always hangs out with the little guy. We don't really know his name. I just kind of make up things as I go. Whatever sounds good, I just kind of name him, and he seems to like it. Kind of works out pretty well for both of us. We both work for the Pike Syndicate off and on, so this is nothing new for us. But we're pretty excited to go treasure hunting.
What's his name today?
Let's go with Sasquatch, the Green Giant.
Nice.
I was going to say Lieutenant Scruffles.
That one's going in the bank.
All right, who else we got?
I guess I'll go next. I am Sam. Or at least that's what is haphazardly scratched onto his chest plate, where once there was numbers and letters and weird shit. He looks mostly like a protocol droid, but from what you guys know of him, he's actually a pretty well-versed technician. Likes to keep to himself for the most part, and just goes about fixing things whenever it's needed. But he doesn't seem to have any kind of owner or anything like that, and oddly enough, he does wear clothing, or at least just a jacket and a hat. And for some reason, he smokes cigarettes, because why not?
Because why not?
It makes him look cool.
Makes him feel alive.
That too.
My turn. I'm Zamira, and I'm a hired thug that had a lot of bounties, but then the Pike Syndicate offered to pay them off as long as I worked for them and did their bidding every so often. So that's what I'm doing now.
Grunt work. Hooray.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to
Respectable
mention.
living.
I do not have any connections to the Pike Syndicate previously, so this is actually a first for Sam, but he seems fine with it. He doesn't really seem to care.
Being as our Sullustan pilot is not here, I'll give the quick and dirty on his character, and he can describe it in greater detail later, but he's one of those hotshot pilots that just loves flying, really enjoys ships and stuff like that, and he was working as a driver for a previous entity. I don't know if he ever told me what it was, but he was totally one of those terrible valet parker guys that stole the sweet Ferrari and took it for a couple of laps around the galaxy, and kind of got in trouble. And they not only fired him, they blacklisted him across their network of contacts to not be hired. So that's kind of forced him out to the outer rim of things, and he has been doing odd jobs here and there, and he dreams of getting his own ship, and he's been working as a cargo pilot for the Pikes lately, but is totally looking forward to driving much faster things. And his name is Kodo Cruz. But that is the group of you. You now find yourself in that glorious ship you see pictured there, and you guys are headed to the wheel. Tally, Zamira, and was there anyone else that said they've been to the wheel before? Once.
Yeah, I would say that Sam's been there maybe once for a short period of time.
All right.
I have not.
The best way to describe it is kind of space Las Vegas, and I'm gonna show you a thing now. You guys get that? You got a pop up on your screen? Yes, no?
Yep.
Can you see the actual information, or is it just a picture?
Nope, got it all.
All info.
All right, so it's a huge space station. It's one of those that rotates and uses the centrifugal force to simulate gravity. It's got a large population, but most of it's human. They're not outright haters of other species, but you do kind of get sideways glances once in a while, especially if you find yourself to be a group that's a droid, a devil woman, a blue person, and a mouse man. So there might be folks that react to you just a little bit strangely, but Tally and Zamira, you know that basically anything you want to do, you can find it on the wheel. There's high stakes gambling, there's bars, there's black market like shops, there's typical armor, weaponry, gadgets, cybernetics, whatever you want, this place has it. And so having been there previously, when the Pike Syndicate gives you the information about where you're going, you guys know which dock you need to land at to be closest to Isotech. And we're going to go ahead and move you guys over there. You guys see that?
Yep.
Again, Edge of the Empire is less focused on the map and the grid, so while this is a map and it does have grids for you to move your tokens on, we're much more theater of the mindingness. However, visual aids always help me kind of describe what's going on.
Sounds good.
I like it.
The only art I currently have for your guys' ship is bright orange. I can Photoshop one that is not got color and stuff on it, but I need a day or two to do some Photoshop magic. So you guys can see.
Nah, gives her character.
I like the paint job.
You guys.
It looks like a crab to me, and that means that if we ever get into a space battle with it, we can call it a crab battle.
Crab people. But you guys dock the ship and you find yourself in a mostly private hangar, in that you're the only ship parked in here due to the size. However, your hangar does open up into the adjacent hangar, and there's a couple of different shuttles in there, as well as entrances into the main hallway. All the way over here, I'll ping you guys if you need. I don't know how far zoomed in folks are. But all the way in the bottom right of the map is where Isotech's offices are. So you got to do a little bit of walking to get there. But your boy Kodo has promised that he can stay and guard the ship, since security is not provided while you're in the dock. But like I said, if you guys want to do any role playing in flight here, knock yourselves out.
So we've been hanging out together for about 3 days, getting
Yeah.
to know each other and all that great stuff.
Yep. And y'all can role play that if you want,
Cool.
or if y'all want to get straight to heading to Isotech, just let me know whatever you all want to do.
Sure.
And you don't have to go to straight to Isotech. I got a list here of stuff as soon as I flip the book to the appropriate page, where I can call off some stuff if you guys want to go shopping or drinking or any of that stuff.
Okay.
In fact, both Tally and Zamira know that there is a cantina right across the way from where your ship's parked called the Blasted Asteroid. And it's kind of like a chain of cantinas. The wheel is big enough that there's multiple locations. It's like a Starbucks, no matter which dock you end up in, there's a small Blasted Asteroid cantina on that level. You've also got a gear store kind of right across from you, as well as a clothing store, which has really cheap stuff, but at the end of the day, it's really cheap stuff. So not known for durability, but you can normally pick up stuff for about half or 2/3 price.
Well, I'm not pushing to do much of anything. I'm just following my Twi'lek friend around.
Well,
Yeah.
that was a very productive 3 days. How about we go have a drink?
Yeah.
Sounds good? All right, off
Yes.
to the cantina.
I was just about to suggest that your fleshy bodies may need a bit of respite. Space travel can be quite vexing.
Do robots drink alcohol?
Given certain parameters, I suppose that I could.
Oh, I'll take
but
that as a yes. I'll buy the first round.
okay.
All right, so we all go into the cantina.
Yep. And again, location's not super important, but it's the red
Okay.
floored room down here. On your way there, you see that there is a small droid repair shop right here. So that's the first thing you see when you come out of the hangar there. And on your way around to the blasted cantina, you see the sign for the dented droid.
As we pass the droid repair shop, Sam stops and looks inside and just kind of stares for a little while.
Sad music plays, like that commercial where the Native Americans watching the guy pick
Well,
up trash.
To be specific, he's kind of looking around for what parts they might have. And just like as a quick thing, he's going to stick with the group, but he's looking around for what kind of parts they may have and the owner of the establishment and how he's treating the equipment.
All right. It's a super small shop, as you can see from the map. Like, it's barely big enough for him to be moving around in there. He's got crates of stuff lining the walls, and it is a Sullustan who appears to be the owner / main mechanic. There's only one gent in there, and it's him. And he's treating, he clearly loves his craft, so he's not like kicking astro mech droids or anything crazy. He's just busily working on one of those tread droids. I'll go get the actual designation in a moment, but he's focused on the job at hand and doesn't even see you creepily, longingly staring through the door.
Okay. I thought, just giving it a look-see, and then I'll head my way over to the cantina.
He's working on a Wed Treadwell repair droid. There's actually several of them in there, and he's tinkering on one.
Alrighty.
To the blasted asteroid. It's cantina. There's folks in here. They're drinking. Music's blaring. There's not a live band. It's pre-recorded stuff off of a super snazzy jukebox, and the owner / bouncer appears to be a large human man currently behind the bar. I'd say there's probably about a half dozen folks in here doing their own thing. A couple of glances as you walk in, like I said, mostly because the population is mostly humans here, and you guys are half a dozen people who aren't, just strolling right in.
All right. I walk right up to the bar. Hello, my good man. My name is Tal, and I'd like a whiskey neat. This is my friend Bambino Longshanks, and he will take a. What do you want? A pina colada, please.
I just nod.
Oh,
Perhaps he
and
would
whatever
like
my
some
friends would
bourbon.
like here as well.
Buying the whole first round, huh?
That's right.
I'll have what she's having.
Hey, yo.
Hmm.
Sam kind of thinks for a second. Can I drink alcohol, or is it like really bad for like? Would it actually like fry my circuits and shit? Because I actually don't know. Like thinking about it.
You know, I don't know enough about Star Wars droids because I never really bothered to look, but if you want to be a Futurama droid who's totally powered on alcohol, or at least who can ingest alcohol and not be affected by it, I don't care enough to stop you because it sounds awesome and the rule of cool rules.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Freaking Sam will walk up and just say, same for me. One whiskey, please."
Sure. Slight pause there to go. I believe we have one each. Rick with us now.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Rick, we have just arrived on the wheel. I told folks that you had agreed to guard the old ship. I gave them the rundown of the this is why you're here, as well as we did small character introductions, and I ran through your elevator pitch for your character.
Cool.
How are the Lucky Charms?
I didn't actually get Lucky Charms.
Dude, we waited 40 minutes for you to show up with Lucky Charms, and you did not do that.
I did get Mountain Dew though. I
Not
also
all
got
is
life.
lost.
I got
Terrible
life
person.
because Lucky Charms were not on sale. Life
Yeah.
was.
My life has been on sale lately, I feel. Tali, you talked to the bartender, and he's going to start pouring out all the drinks, and he's going to say, well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Tali. Are you new here on the wheel?
Well, I've been here a few times, but we're here for a pretty specific job. How's it been around here lately?
Things were a little exciting a while back, but it's mostly calmed down. There was a little dust up with some of those rebels a while back, and it got the Empire a little interested in us. And if you've been here before, you know we kind of pride ourselves in being one of the few places out there that is immune, I guess you could say, to the Empire's reach, and we take our independence quite importantly. So once you had a bunch of goons in white armor stomping around, it kind of put everyone on edge. But it's dying down, I think, finally. The name's CeeLo, and you just let me know if you guys need anything else. And he starts putting all the drinks up on the bar there.
Well, thank you, CeeLo. I'll keep that in mind.
I grab my drink, I give it a quick sniff, and then I grimace, shake my head, and push it away.
Not to your liking?
Well,
I shrug.
I'll drink it.
yeah, more for us. He'll take a water.
All right. And he'll fill a small cup with water.
Thank you very much,
Sam,
CeeLo.
or I'll take my drink and just say, thank you, bartender CeeLo." Look over to Tal and go, blue person. Thank you for the drinks.
No problem, Tin Man.
I'll just take a water.
You are the worst ship guard ever.
I turn
I
around
still
a little
guarding the
around
ship?
here.
Yeah. Sam turns around and looks at Kodo and goes, "I thought you were guarding the ship."
But I heard you were getting drinks.
He'll pour up a water if you want one, Kodo. This is
Take
easy.
the water and leave.
Yeah, just walk back on the ship with his fucking cup of water.
Yeah, because like the ship doesn't fucking come with its own like systems for that fucking water and shit.
I can
It
neither
tastes funny.
confirm nor deny he's got California tap water in the ship, and he needed the real stuff. So you guys want a table? Are you drinking your drinks at the bar? What you doing?
I'll just hang out at the bar. I'm cool with that. Kind of. Actually, how does the place look? Are there a lot of people around, or is it kind of empty?
I'd say with the addition of you guys, it brings it up to about 3/4 capacity before you start standing room only kind of stuff. It's not a huge place. It's
Okay.
clearly, like I said, it's a chain, so it's not the only bar on this wing. It's just a small stop that the folks who are at the hangars, because there's the 3 hangars here, so it's clearly meant to just be able to handle somewhere between 5 and 10 ships worth of folks at any given time. So it's not packed, but you guys are bringing it closer to full. There's a couple of other folks at various booths, and there was 2 or 3 folks up at the bar kind of minding their own business when you came in.
I'm looking around. Do I see anyone that sticks out as looking a little bit more intimidating or possibly watching us?
The bartender is huge and burly and seems like he might also serve as the establishment's bouncer should the need arise.
I start staring him down,
He starts staring down at you.
but I'm staring down at him while looking up at him.
Got it. I will note that here in my handy dandy Big Whoop magazine.
Sam, I lean over to Zamira and look at the weird rat person and the bartender. Is this some form of humanoid mating ritual that I am unaware of?
If it is, I am too unaware of it.
Very well.
For the most part, I'm just gonna hang out at the bar, mingle a little bit, maybe with the people around me, but nothing specific. Just sort of chatting while I'm finishing up my drink.
Okay.
Just
If you-
hanging out.
Once you've hung out for a couple of minutes, unless anyone else has anything they want to do.
How
Uh,
long can the bartender stare for?
Oh God! Roll for
Okay.
staring contest.
Okay.
Roll for staring contest. If you hang out for a couple of minutes and the conversation starts picking back up around you guys, we're going to say at least Tali and Zamira and Sam, considering that Longshanks over there is currently engaged in a staring contest. But you guys can pick up blips of conversation around you. It seems like there's a bit of an excitement going on because some sort of hyperspace pod was found recently, and rumor has it that it's from the old treasury ship that you guys were hired to go find. So it seems like that might be what drew the Pike's attention to it, is some fancy like yacht was coming into dock at the wheel, and this freaking hyperspace message pod bounced off the windshield. And so before it got turned over to its rightful owners, Isotech, the rumor mill got going that, hey, they found a pod they think it's from that treasure ship that disappeared at the end of the Clone Wars. So like everyone's grumbling and stuff, and that's what you hear. You hear, oh, the freaking hyperspace pod rumors is bringing a bunch of damn tourists into the wheel, blah, 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 blah.
I hate tourists.
The worst.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I finished off my whiskey. You guys ready to go yet?
Just one moment. Sam, or I will look at the or like wave down the bartender. Bartender CeeLo. Perhaps is there any other work that needs doing within the wheel at this point in time?
Well, I mean, there's always work to be found. Things need repairing. Folks always looking to hire on extra help on their ships. I mean, it depends on what sort of stuff you're looking for. You can always spend some time scrubbing grease vats and taking out garbage if that's the sort of work that suits you, I mean, because it'll definitely pay.
I am more on the side of repairs.
Well, there's always the dented droid out front. You probably passed it coming in. He runs a repair shop, but then of course further along the rim, there's a few starship repair operations. If that's the sort of work you got, they might be willing to take on a hire.
Very well. Thank you for your assistance.
I smile to myself because I won the staring contest.
You did win the staring contest. He totally got distracted by the droid.
All right, Sasquatch, let's go.
I'm a terrible person and don't know how much drinks cost in this system yet because I haven't really dealt with that kind of stuff. So we'll just figure out the credits on the flip side and I'll let you know. But
Sounds good. Okay.
pay the bartender and leave.
Should be around
Alright.
2 credits apiece.
I'm going to be arguing as we leave, as much as one can argue, with little Sasquatch there. I thought for sure you just said that pina coladas were your favorite last time. Didn't you like that last time?
I shrug.
You got me paying for drinks that you don't even like.
But Zamira got a free one.
Yep.
I like it.
It's good to be on her good side, so that's totally fine.
Once we get out into the hall, I'll stop everybody and be like, we did not discuss this before getting off of the ship, but how many of you have communication devices?
Yes, I should know that. I do believe I have one. Let me check.
If memory serves, everyone should have a comlink.
Mm-hmm.
The handheld kind.
I have one
I got
built
one.
into myself.
I raise my hand, indicating that I have one.
You should high-five him.
Yeah,
I hop
Yes,
on my
yes.
comlink to message you all to let you know that I also have a comlink.
You
Hot
could just
mic.
join us. Why don't you come hang out with us?
I don't know. Am I
He
no
only
longer-
drinks water in private.
You're you're totally cool to join the group, Rick. That thing that we talked about, I can always have it come in at a later point. I can just adjust on the timeline when that happens.
Okay.
And we can always backfill as needed. So don't feel like you have to just sit in the ship, because the only reason you were going to do that is because you were going to abandon us to go to a concert. So just
All right, Sam,
just
that
remember
answers
to
your
double
question, I
click the Viper alarm when you leave.
Just because Sam's seen it before, whenever Sasquatch raises his hand, Sam presses it. He doesn't even like high five it. He presses his hand against his and then pulls it back. Very
Nice.
well.
Nice one.
Please make sure that we are all connected to the same frequency should we get separated.
Frequency 69. Got it.
Mm.
I was on 420.
Nice.
Very well.
Row
Shall we
12.
continue to our previously discussed destination?
Yes, let's go.
As you walk the halls, it's not crowded, but there are people moving around at basically all times. You don't have to like Comic-Con crowd push your way through, but you do have to do the whole stick to the right side of the corridor at times, and once in a while there are other groups where you have that like, oh great, we're walking 2 or 3 abreast and so are they, so you have to like single file for a second to get around them. But as you come to the main center, you see like an information booth, like a mall info kiosk that's got maps and stuff that detail this section of the wheel. And there's also like a computer terminal that you can search for things on, as well as like a holographic display of a humanoid shape. And for Tali and Zamira, who've been to the wheel before, you know that the wheel itself is ran by an artificial intelligence, and not only does the main computer system, I guess, have the artificial intelligence, there was also a handful of actual droid bodies that consciousness has been downloaded into, so that he has more, air quote, human-friendly representations to move about and interact with people. But you see a representation of him in a hologram standing in the info booth here. I can go figure out what his name is real quick. I gotta flip to the right page.
In a loud, conspiratorial say, we should all come
Master
right back
Com.
here. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry. I was talking to myself.
Oh. I say we should all come right back here after we get that treasure and double down with our winnings at the gambling tables.
Given the possibilities of gambling and the prospects of different establishments cheating their guests, it would be unwise to do such a thing.
Ooh, Sam, I forgot about that. You could probably give me some good odds. Yeah, you'll be my lucky charm.
Never tell me the odds.
I look very offended by that last statement.
Oh, sorry, buddy. You're always my lucky charm. That's what I meant. Sorry. Sam, you'll just be like hedging my bets, basically.
I will tell you that, given the situation, I am not programmed for such a thing, but I could at least try.
That is good enough for me.
The old, it's not within my programming parameters.
I could always upgrade my programming at a later date.
So we kind of know where... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say DLC.
Yeah. For this information kiosk, can I hook my data pad up to it and download like the maps and stuff like that we would need for this area?
Sure. Let me read what the info thing here says.
So Sam lifts up his left arm and a data pad pops out of it. He starts fiddling with it.
Nice.
So it does have a computer terminal. I'll let you download local maps as well as the information for all of the shops on this segment, because the wheel is designed in a way that if there was a loss of pressure here, there's blast doors between this section and the next section, so that fires or vacuum does not spread. So you can download this section. It would be much more time consuming to start getting the rest of the wheel, but fairly quickly you can get this section. And there's also, like I said, the terminal that you can essentially Barnes and Noble help kiosk, see if a certain book's in stock or whatever. And then it's clearly connected to the central system, Mastercom, and he will, it's just an automated information thing. He's sitting there doing the same replaying message every couple of minutes unless you specifically interact with the hologram.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Yeah, getting this section is more than enough. I just wanted to make sure that we didn't have to keep coming back to this kiosk if we needed the info.
Nope. I'll just
Good
give
call.
you the quick overview. The droid repair store. There is a gear store that sells clothing and armor. There is the
Is there
hallway.
a welfare store?
A what?
Is there a welfare store?
There is the hallway that you're next to with the blue lights that leads off to the high stakes gambling area. There is a small cafe directly south of the booth that you're standing outside of called Tasia's Tap Cafe. There is a part store that has different cybernetic stuff. Not like the droid repair shop, but just more like parts, pieces, gun upgrades, that kind of stuff, as well as various places where you can buy a pod or a room to sleep, cargo storage, that kind of stuff. And then Isotech is the white and red floor on the far side, and then there's elevators to take you to other levels. Plus your hangar, public shuttle hangar, and private hangar.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I'll just tell everybody. The information for this section of the wheel has been downloaded into my data pad, so we do not require to come back to this kiosk should we need information.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Ready to move on?
Over to Isotech.
Yeah, sounds
Over
good.
to Isotech.
So you get to the door, and the door's actually locked, and you knock on the door, and it takes a second, but then you hear the metallic click of the door unlock, and then the motion sensor, Star Trek auto whooshes the door open, and
Ooh.
you go inside, and there's
Whoosh.
whoosh. We can make it like a Hitchhiker's Guide where all the doors in this section sigh. So much flipping around in this damn book. All right, so you can go in now. You're in a lobby area, and there's like a receptionist behind the desk, and she's gonna apologetically say, sorry about the door. We've kind of had to beef up security lately with everything that's going on. It'll be just a moment, and Roam will be right with you.
All right, sounds good.
And then if there's no reactions to any of that, a couple of minutes later, a blue male Twi'lek is going to walk in from the rear door and kind of motion all of you to step into his office.
Were we hanging out in the lobby, like with elevator music and everything? Just staring at each other.
It's like that new age elevator music where it's like trying to be reggae and it's not very good.
No, it's the Cisco hold music. I hate that. But so yeah, Blue Twi'lek will motion you to the back office, and when you enter his office proper, he's going to kind of give a half nod before flopping down in his sweet, super comfy leather chair.
Ooh.
And he says, it's good of you all to show up. Please make yourselves at home. Take a seat. I'm assuming by now you know why you're here, in reference to the Sa Nalaor, the treasury ship that disappeared at the end of the Clone Wars.
We were given minor information, but what you said is about what we know.
Well, as it happens, one of the hyperspace message pods from the ship was recently found dead in space near the wheel. Some cruise ship or somebody actually ran into it and brought it on board the station, where station security eventually turned it over to me. And that is because the pod contained a message from my father, who actually served aboard the ship. So, unfortunately, it seems like this pod was fired during the ship's escape, and I don't know if it was a computer malfunction or just sheer bad luck, but it looks like it missed the intended target, being the wheel. So the damn thing's just been floating out there for 15, 20 years now, and it wasn't until sheer random chance that somebody found it.
I take a seat on the edge of his desk. Roan, is it? So your father was a part of what ship again? Rome. Okay.
Sa Nala. There's
He was okay.
Great argument about how to say this damn thing online, because some people argue that there should be an apostrophe in there if you wanted it pronounced Sa Nalaor, but that's what we're going with.
Okay. And so now we are going to go chase after this. Did you guys get any information from that rogue sort of ship piece?
So it's a message pod. It basically has an engine on the back of it that is capable of hyperlight travel, but it's not big enough for people or anything to be in. It is literally just an engine that you can program its computer banks with an SOS or something like that.
Okay.
So not big enough to carry anybody. It's not an escape pod. It's literally just an engine with a solid state hard drive with a message going, you know, well, he'll tell you in character, but that's what you need to imagine. So not like a ship,
Okay,
not like a piece of a ship, but just an
Message in a
emergency SOS message in a bottle, capable
Okay.
of faster than light travel.
Any chance it had the coordinates in it from where it came from?
As a matter of fact, yes. Here's the deal. The pod appears to have the last known location of the ship on it, but of course the damn thing was fired off nearly 2 decades ago. So we know where the ship was at one point, but it's been 20 years since that point. For anyone unfamiliar with all the pirate tales and smuggler rumors about the ship, the crew of the ship was working for this kind of infamous Clone Wars figurehead, and when it became clear that the separatist movement was going to be crushed by the newly designated empire, they gathered up all the tech and money they could and fled for the Outer Rim. It seems like the empire guessed that they were going to do this and attacked them as they were making their jump, but from there no one's seen word of this ship for going on 2 decades now, until this thing bounced off of somebody's window.
Now, Rome, will you be accompanying us on this journey?
I will not, unfortunately. It's in my best interest to stay here and continue to manage isotech. However, my droid will be accompanying you. He's not here at the moment, but he is my personal company's protocol droid, and he actually worked for my father, which is how I inherited him. So when you actually find the ship, assuming that you do, he will be able to verify the identity of my father and the other folks who were on the ship, and will basically help get your foot in the door that you're not just ruthless pirates looking to steal whatever was on board. My droid's name is IT3PO.
Interesting. And once we find this treasure, what is your cut?
Straight to business, of course. Well, IT3PO is not here. He's at another one of our outposts, so I'm having him transported here so that he can accompany you. Unfortunately, that's going to take probably 6 to 8 hours. He'll arrive here before the next simulated sunrise. But in regards to cut, should you find the ship and return the information about its whereabouts to me, I'm going to pay each of you 10,000. Let me verify that. I'll pay 10,000 credits. It doesn't say each, so bear with me on that one. I'll look up more later. He says, I'll pay you 10,000 credits, as well as start wiping your debts with your employer, as they will now be, in my pocket. So we'll help lift some of that obligation that they're holding over your heads, as well as looks like 50% cut. So I'll pay you credits, as well as Isotech and your crew will split the wealth, if there is any to be found on the ship, straight down the middle, as well as putting in a good word with the Pike Syndicate that your your debts are beginning to be fulfilled.
Very interesting. I look as though I'm mulling this over. And of course, Isotech is going to pay all expenses, right?
The Pike Syndicate told me that they'd fronted you a ship and it was supplied for the journey. Is there anything in particular that you're hinting at there?
Oh,
I
it's
jump up
nothing
and down,
Oh.
and I say for the first time anyone's heard me say anything, grenades.
You need grenades?
I nod my head eagerly.
I roll my eyes.
Yeah, I look back to everybody and then back to Rom. Given the given the length that this ship has been out in space, and if it's been attacked or stripped clean, we have no way of knowing. But considering how long it's been out, I doubt the life support systems on board are stable. And although I could survive, my fleshy companions probably will not be able to make the trip. Is there any way that we can go about acquiring spacesuits for the rest of them?
So it's a good thing you bring that up because I don't yet know whether it's a derelict, derelict craft in the vacuum of space, so to speak. Here, why don't we step into the lab, and he'll get up, and you'll go to a side door that leads back into the back room, and when you enter, you'll see this hyperspace pod. And I should have loaded a picture in Roll20, but I'm a terrible GM. But it's roughly a little bit taller than Longshanks, and is just a chunk of metal. But they have a computer set up on a desk nearby that's running like a half dozen wires to this thing where they're getting the message out of it. But the thing is old and beat up and derelict, and it looks like somebody drove a pleasure yacht into it before bringing it to the wheel. So it's damaged. And he says, so the coordinates that we've been able to pull off the ship itself indicate that the last known whereabouts was actually near the planet Chogana. So
what do we know about Chogana here?
You can give me a knowledge outer rim check.
Ooh, can I do that too?
You can. Let me see if it gives me a difficulty here.
Yeah, I might let Sam field that one. I don't have anything special in that.
I have nothing special, but I can try it.
Knowledge is my specialty.
We're gonna. Do you have any specific reason to have been on the outer rim in that area of space before, or are you well traveled? If so, it's average. For anyone randomly just going, have I heard about Chogana? It's going to be difficult and thus 3. So if you're...
I would say Sam's well traveled and also has
a computer
actual proficiency. Oh, well, yeah, and also has like proficiency with outer rim intelligence.
Sure. So average check for you, 2 purple die, but go ahead and add a boost blue die to your check. Is anyone else making a check of any kind?
I can, but I think it's mostly just asking if I know. I wouldn't say I'm
Sure.
It's not that I'm not well traveled.
2 purple?
Yeah, 2 purple, but
and
also a boost.
A boost is the blue square,
yeah,
I'm assuming?
Blue square, yeah. There you go. Success. Let me find the damn Chogana page.
It didn't add the boost, did it? I don't think so.
It did not. You want to roll a boost die real quick?
I mean, I put it on there. Oh, you know what? I didn't unclick it. I mean, it's a success. I'm not really too worried about it.
All right. So Chogana is... Let me type that out so y'all have it. Tolgana. It's in the Chol system. It's on the outer rim. It's a jungle world, like no known major settlements, but temperate forest, tropical jungles, very earth basically, but a lot of the landmass is more akin to like Brazilian jungle or African savanna, rather than like North American temperate forest.
Still
Yeah. A lot of exotic
it.
flora and fauna. It's a remote and isolated world. I'll see if there's anything else. Go ahead and throw me an average 2 purple xenealogy check as well.
Oh boy, xenealogy. All right, so
There you go.
Nice.
So whether you pick this up in some random bit of trivia night, or heard a rumor, or just have really weird Wikipedia search history, you know that Tolgana is home of the Nexu as well. And I got an image for you.
Those aren't nice.
Look like this.
oh boy,
That's
yes.
the thing that tried to kill Padme.
Great.
That is adorable.
Totes
Look at that
adorbs.
smile.
If we are going near the Cholgana system, we'll all need to be careful. It is not a friendly place. Also not good for droids.
It is a little damp.
Great. This humidity in my hair.
Sam looks at you
Bad joke.
and tilts
I
his
know.
head. I'm sorry, but I do not believe that Twi'leks come with hair.
Thank
Very
you
astute
for
observation, Sam. Thank you.
mansplaining that to her, Sam.
Well, he's a fucking robot.
No, it was
like,
good.
he
It
doesn't-
was good.
Droid splaining.
I look at
droid-
Sam and I give him a
droid
nice
explaining.
slow clap. Good job. Good job.
Hey,
Okay,
Sam points to Zamira. She has hair. And then points to frickin' Sasquatch. He has lots of hair.
Damn droid doesn't know the difference in hair and fur.
Probably not.
But yeah, so you got the pod right in front of you. His techs have clearly been trying to pull data from the pod. If you want to mess with the pod, just let me know. Otherwise, the information that you have currently is the pod came from somewhere right outside of the orbit of Cholgana. You know, Cholgana is a very dangerous jungle world full of super happy, fun time kitty cats. And you know that IT-3PO, the company's protocol droid, who actually served on the ship at one point, or served with the father rather, not necessarily on the ship, is going to be here in about 7 to 8 hours. So you do have some time to kill, and Rome's going to tell you. Also, it's very clear that in a situation like this, these things are going to raise a bit of attention, and unfortunately, when there is a crash with a message pod from the legendary Salnala Or, it raises a couple of eyebrows. So I feel like the rumor mill is probably churning already around the station. So it might behoove you, while you're waiting on IT3, kind of keep an ear out and make sure that there's not going to be too many other interested parties or rivals. We clearly have the upper hand at this point, because the Sanala Or has only been a smuggler's tale, something you joke about around a table in the cantina. But with this very real message pod, it has brought a lot of life back to the rumors. So you just be careful out there, okay?
Well,
All right, that sounds good.
if I may, I would like to have a moment to look at the pod.
Sure.
You said they have it hooked up to a terminal, right?
He's got a computer there.
Okay.
It's more or less like he plugged his laptop USB cord into this thing to get the information, but it's by no means like a slicer workbench. If you had some sort of, I don't know what gear you bought. Do you have just like a data pad, or did you actually splurge on any kind of slicing gear or anything crazy?
Let me check. I know I got some stuff. I do not have a slicer. Well, I don't know. What comes in the toolkit? I don't think a slicer does.
I
A
think
slicer
the
kit
slicer
does.
kit was its own individual equipment.
Yeah,
I think
yeah, I'm
we
pretty
talked
sure it
about you
was.
buying one and you opted not to dump. There was like 400 credits or something on it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I do not have one, unfortunately, but I do have my data pad.
Okay. Make an easy single purple die computer check.
Okay. Okay. Wait, what? God, hang on. I'll re-roll that. There we go.
You're just trying to sneak an extra success in on me.
Well, it didn't do the fucking
It's
purple
fine,
one.
It's fine. I got you. All right. So you do a quick diagnostics. You're not like hooked into this thing yet, but you're given a cursory glance, and you can see that if you do not have either like a droid repair workbench or a slicer workbench to like actually try to fix this thing, it's going to be a really hard time to get any more information out of it than he already had, which is somewhere near Cholgana. If you want to attempt to slice it further without that gear, it is going to be 3. It's a hard check, 3 purple with 2 setback black die.
Oh boy. All right. If I attempt it, do I know like if I attempt this, will I get like locked out in some kind of way?
This thing is old enough and beat up enough that you don't know how it's going to react to failed passwords and improper driver updates and whatever else.
All right. It appears I would require more equipment to ascertain the information stored in this device.
I tug on his coat, and I hand him one of my grenades.
Sam looks at the grenade back at you. This is not the kind of equipment that I require, but thank you. And he hands it back to you.
I just lower my head and put it away.
He's like, please blow it up.
You said you need more equipment.
I did actually see a droid repair shop on our way here. Perhaps I can inquire there about getting the proper equipment to deal with this.
It is a possibility. I would certainly recommend that you bring the equipment here than attempt to move the pod there, though. I don't know how well the shop's patron would be willing to part with his equipment, but I certainly don't want you all dragging this thing down the hallways and raising any more attention than has already been raised.
Yes, that was my idea as well. Perhaps I can inquire a favor for the shopkeeper.
It's possible. In the meantime, it's just going to be sitting here. We don't plan on attempting anything further without the proper gear ourselves. We've been working on arranging IT3's delivery, and other than that, I mostly believe it's the waiting game on our end.
Would IT3 be able to interface with this device?
He's mostly a protocol droid. I feel like he would stand just as good a chance as you without the the actual slicing gear and stuff. He's not programmed for cracking, hacking, slicing, and otherwise that sort of work. He's mostly a records keeper, a protocol, personnel, etc.
Very well.
Just out of curiosity,
Go ahead.
work closely with the Pike Syndicate often? I know you mentioned a little bit something about it earlier.
I wouldn't say work closely so much as what's the word? Think of it kind of like subcontracting. Once in a while, work comes my way that we here at Isotech don't necessarily have the expertise for, so we work with entities like the Pikes to meet those particular ends, because we're a cybernetics and computer company, so we don't necessarily have too much muscle lying around, but certain situations arrive like this one where you don't want to just send a bunch of boys from the lab out to Cholgana of all places without someone to watch their back. So we outsource for hired help, and I think your Pike patrons are a little interested in furthering business relations because they have eyes on some of the technology that we've got under development. So I think this is one of those mutually beneficial. They provide the personnel, and then in the future we make sure to toss more jobs their way.
Now, can I tell how old Rowan is? Like, was he a child when his father went missing, or was he an adult already? Like,
I'm fuzzy on my Twi'leks, but he's not yet middle-aged, so call him like mid-30s. So you're guessing he if it was 20 years ago when his father went missing, he was probably mid-teens.
Rowan, have you always lived on the wheel, or were you from Ryloth or somewhere else?
Due to my father's professions, we did kind of bounce around a little bit, so I've not been back to Ryloth proper in quite some time. My company has outposts through various stations, though, so while I'm based out of the wheel, this is by no means my only office, so it's not uncommon for me to bounce between different laboratories and outposts and dealings.
Okay. And did you feel like you knew your father very well? Is there any chance they would send possibly a pod off into space to maybe, send people on a wild goose chase, or maybe take the loot for themselves and run?
Well, they were already taking the loot for themselves and running. However, like rumor tells, the Empire jumped in right as they were preparing for their trip to the Outer Rim, and from both rumor and the data that we've got from the pod, it seems like the Sanala ore became damaged. So I don't think it too far outside the realm of reality that they tried to get a message back to the company. Because if the ship was in fact damaged, it more than likely is somewhere there in the Chol system, and I'm not fully up to speed on my father's intents, but I imagine he had much the same aim as the company he left behind, which is to produce new tech and set up operations. So if that was his intent, steal a bunch of technology and set up peddling it on the Outer Rim, I don't think it would be a trap, so to speak, that he was trying to send an SOS back to Isotech.
Okay, thanks for the clarification.
Of course. I'll read through real quick and see if there's anything else this guy has.
He's lying to us. Fucking Sasquatch, blow him up.
Oh, I did have something for you. It's about 3 days travel down the trade route to get there.
Okay.
Let me go find the damn map.
I did have one more kind of related question.
Sure, I'm gonna flip through the book. Go ahead and ask questions.
When we find it, not if, but when we find it, if it has been completely picked clean, do we still get the same cut? Are we still getting paid by Isotech?
Well, I'm a man of my word, so if I said 10,000 to
Alright.
find the ship, then you still get 10,000.
Alright.
The deal being 50% of whatever treasury was unrecovered. If that treasury is 0, then per the word of the deal, you get exactly 50% of that, and I'll stick to my bargain. You can have 50% of 0.
So it's 10,000 to find it, and then on top of that, 50% of the treasure.
Correct.
Okay, just thanks. Okay, got it. Cool.
I'll scrub better to see if it was 10,000 a person, but it just in his little text box it just says I'll pay you 10,000.
Okay.
I lost the map of that arm of the galaxy. I can't remember where it is in the book, but there's a trade route to get you to that arm of the galaxy basically. So you're going to spend about 2.5 days of hyperlight travel heading down a very high traveled route. But then once you get out to the rim, you'll need to come out of hyperspace, adjust, and aim yourself towards the Sol system, and then it's about another day and a half, and it's a much harder plot because of asteroid fields and other stuff in that region. If someone wants to make an astrogation check, or
That sounds like something I could do.
that does sound like something you can do.
Same thing.
I can check on other knowledges that might be a knowledge outer rim or any related piloting checks. I will let you have more information.
Okay, yeah. I would love to do astrogation. You want to do one of those too, Rick?
Yeah.
Okay.
What am I rolling against?
And it's going to be... Man, there's so many things in this damn book. It was the Perlimian trade route, by the way.
Perlimian.
I'll put that in the chat in a second. Do either of y'all have any reason to have traveled out towards Raxus Prime, Cholgana, or any of those planets before?
I certainly could have done a run for the Pike Syndicate.
Sure. If you want to incorporate in your backstory that you've been out down the Perlimian trade route, it is a average check at 2 purple. Otherwise, it is a hard check at 3. There you go.
For some reason, mine says -1 purple right now. Am I adding 2 to that, or is it like straight from 0, add 2?
From 0. I don't know why it would say -1.
I don't know why it does that either. Okay.
How common of a thing would it be from like to go to those places? Because I was a pilot for a company, or a syndicate or whatever. Not really a Pike Syndicate, but you know my story.
Yeah.
In the past, I was had a legitimate job. Until I decided that I liked piloting more than I liked having a job.
Yeah. So again, down the trade route, not necessarily super common, but like it's not too hard to include in your backstory that as a pilot, I went down the trade route. Once you take a left at Albuquerque and head out towards Telgana, though, highly doubt you've been out there.
Okay. So this would be a 3?
2 is fine.
Okay.
Looks like Tally has a wash. And Kodo has a failure.
Rip.
So unfortunately, neither of y'all are going to have any additional information aside from what he's estimating to be about 3.5 day travel out there.
Okay.
It is something that you can attempt to follow up. You can maybe information kiosk it or spend the time, since you have 7 hours to do the research to become better acquainted with the route. But at this moment, let's go ahead and take a 5-minute break so I can refill my water.
Okay, sounds good.
Cool. I'll get a beverage.
Actually, I was waiting for them to do it because now I kind of want to see if I can fucking make this check. Because I only gave my character astrogation because I was like, droid, and he's on a ship and he deals with like computers and shit. I feel like astrogation's okay.
Mhm.
But he just has like a really high intelligence, so I've got a yellow and three greens for astrogation. Or I don't know what they're actually called.
Well, that's better than mine. I have a yellow.
Ability and proficiency.
Thank you.
Right. Yellow and green. Yeah, I only had one of each, so I'm sure you'd do a lot better.
I mean, I'd have to go against three difficulty, but that's not too bad. I have all this like great intelligence stuff, so that's what I'll be good for. But once we get to combat, it's going to be a totally different story.
Wait, what's happening about combat?
I said I'm going to be really good for like all the intelligence rolls and stuff, but once we get into combat, it's going to be a completely different story.
But you're wearing such a sweet duster.
Ashley perks up when she hears combat. She gets excited to smash some heads in.
Actually, I don't have bad agility. I just don't have any skill with blasters yet, but I will eventually.
That's fine. I also have a very cool trench coat. And in my item inventory for the qualities I have, it is super badass.
What class
Nice.
hyperdrive does your ship have? Somebody tell me.
Ooh,
I have no
definitely
idea.
know that.
That's something somebody else can look up while I
Sorry.
read this book.
I don't even remember what book it's in.
Yeah, where would I find that? Let's see.
To be honest, I don't remember the model either.
YV560. I'm sure you could Google it and it'd be on like Wikipedia or something.
Yeah,
like
I'm looking right now.
Mhm.
If not, it's in the book.
What were you asking? Hyperdrive, primary, class 2.
Class
Backup,
2?
class 15.
Oh, y'all are going to be going a little bit slower then. So, not 3 days. A little slower than that. Takes 3 days in a class 1 hyperdrive. So, y'all get some extra time to get to know each other.
Mhm.
Well, Han got from Tatooine to Alderaan in like 30 minutes, so I think we should be okay.
It was the artist previously known as Alderaan. Someone make a mental note, or I gave you a handout. You should be able to edit party notes and stuff like that.
Mhm.
He's gonna pay off 10 of your obligation at the end of if you find the ship or find the fate of the ship, even if it's it was totally destroyed, and come back, you get to remove 10 obligation.
Nice.
I'm just scrolling through data here, trying to like make sure the mechanical stuff on the back end is all figured out here. Just for the sake of remembering, the guy's father's name is Ropak.
Ropak.
That's who the droid belonged to previously. The droid's apparently been around since the Clone Wars, and should know Ropak, the captain of the Sa-Nala, which is Harsal, and the crew. And in fact, Rome is going to give you a data chip that has images, like hologram images of the ship itself, like the shape of the ship, as well as Captain Harsall, so that you know what he looked like as of 20 years ago. And he's going to tell you that when you complete this mission, you don't need to come back here. I will actually be heading from here to our offices on Raxus Prime. And once you have proper information and proof that you've found the ship, I want you to meet me there at the Isotech offices on Raxus Prime.
Got it. We'll see you there.
The location is on that data chip he just gave you. It's to a place
Okay.
called Scrap Heap Point. Sounds classy, I know. It's also going to include a recommended flight path to navigate the junkyard canyons, basically. And he tells you, I don't want you revealing the location or raising the suspicions from the Imperials, because there is Imperial forces on Raxus Prime, so we try to keep a low profile.
All right, we'll keep it in mind.
Yeah, and the last thing he's going to tell you is he's going to remind you, keep an ear out. I want to see if there's other folks planning on taking off for this. I want to ensure that you guys aren't necessarily followed there, because we have the coordinates and we know it's from Cholgana. So I expect that with the raised interest, there will be people wanting to see which way we go, and that's why I'm hoping that when I head off to make my rounds, they'll hopefully be keeping an eye on me and not necessarily random ships from hired help. There's actually an informant that hangs out over in the cantina, and he might be a good source of information. He's normally in the know on things around, especially these decks, but the wheel in general.
Ah, cool. What is that?
He's a human, and his name is... Bum bum bum.
All right, we'll go find Bum Bum Bum.
Right. I wish I had more time to get all this stuff in Roll20 instead of having to flip through the physical book.
Sure.
His name is Warun Dak, and he's kind of a chunky Corellian. Shouldn't be too hard to miss him.
Okay.
He's normally sitting at a large table over by the bar. Again, that name is Warun Dak.
How on earth do you spell that?
Ah, got it.
Like that.
Anything else you guys want to do while you're in here in Isotech proper?
Well, we're going to be hanging out for a couple hours.
Yep, you got 7-8 hours to kill.
Okay. Is your droid going to meet us at our ship? Or do we have to pick him up here and go back?
I can have him delivered directly to the ship, yes.
Okay. Well, in that case, we should kick back and relax for a few hours. Rom, do you want to get a drink?
I'm going to be making preparations for my departure from here across several of our offices en route to Raxus Prime, and obviously I need to make sure that things are ready for your arrival at Raxus Prime. So as much as I would appreciate it, I think it's best that I keep everything ready to go on my end so that there's not any more complications than need be.
All right, you're lost.
I'm sure.
I'm secretly upset I can't get him to pay the bill. The bar
drink
tab.
bill. All right, where you go? What you do?
I'm gonna head out of the place and just be like, I shall be at the droid repair shop should anyone require my assistance, but you can reach me over comms.
Okay.
Sure.
Sam, are you gonna also possibly want to do the astrogation thing? Are you
Oh
trying to look
yeah,
like?
that's right.
I wasn't sure
Yeah,
if you were interested in doing that or not, or whatever.
yeah. If I can, I'll do a check for that astrogation for the fucking ship path.
Sure.
'Cause I forgot that I
Again,
have
I'm
the
not.
thing. It's 3.
Yeah. We'll call it
Okay.
3. I'm still super new to actually running this system, so I'm not 100% so. Jesus
What
Christ.
the fuck?
I don't believe that's
Wait,
your
what? Wait,
astrogation at all, sir.
no. Oh, goddamn.
Whoa.
I see what happened. I know what happened. Sorry.
You won.
Did you load your dice pool and then
You win
click
the
the skill?
game.
Yeah. The dice pool was still loaded from my last roll. Yeah. I didn't
Um,
realize it would do all of that.
like I was saying, I'm still newer.
There we go.
There you go. Newer to the rules, so I'm flipping through the book a bunch here, and I'm not 100% sure that it needs to be astrogation at this point, but I'm the GM, and what I say goes, so astrogation check. You are fairly certain that you have the amount of time figured out. You know, he estimated 3 or 4 days, but I'll get back to you once I go find what a class 2 takes, and I'll give you the thing that you're fairly certain with that success. However, I'm going to say that threat is I have something, but I'm going to keep it secret because I'm a terrible, terrible person.
Okay,
So
that's
I
fine.
do have a use for that threat. That actually works perfectly for things that are going on in the world that you don't know are going on. So science.
Sounds fun.
But cool. Give me a marching order, so to speak, and I need to know where folks are heading and what folks are doing and who's with who.
I stay behind the blue Twi'lek.
Sure.
Who is going to the cantina? Hang out with Warun Dak.
There you go.
And CeeLo.
Sure.
I am heading to the droid repair shop.
Have
I
fun,
would like
Sam.
to wander the hangars, looking at all the really cool ships.
Prospective targets.
Maybe.
Ooh, shiny.
But I also want to, pit stop at ours first. Like I'll go
You
to our ship
crackled
first just to
there,
make sure
what?
like everything's okay.
Sure. Sorry, your mic was cutting out, and I wanted to make sure that I understood what you was saying there.
Sorry, am I still crackly?
Just a hair.
Dang. But yeah, I'll start off, check on our ship, but after that, just wander the hangars, admire all the ships, think about one I might want to steal in the future.
Sure. Tally, I got something for you real quick. I just need to get to the
Okay.
right page.
Okay.
I'm going
then-
back to the cantina.
Okay.
As we left Isotech, were there any prying eyes? Did everything look like business as usual?
That's actually what
Anybody
I got for
following
you.
us? Oh, okay.
I just scrolled down to get information about Cholgana, though, and I need to frickin' get back to the right area of the book.
There, hopefully I'm not crackly anymore.
Better.
That's much better.
Oh my god, I've read this book like 15 times to prepare for this. I just wanted to make sure I actually had the page up when I started telling you what you saw.
It's impossible to memorize all that stuff, dude. It's the same thing with D&D. I don't know a single DM that doesn't have to look through the book or certain notes that he puts up to make a call, to make a ruling most of the time.
Okay, yeah. So, Tally, as you are the first one out the door, beelining back towards the cantina. When you come out, again, Isotech, if you're on the where you can see it, you come out of Isotech's door here.
Okay.
You notice there is a Rhodian kind of propped up against the cargo containers and stuff that are right here. And the moment that you kind of make eye contact with him,
Mhm.
he stops his sweet shoulder lean into the wall there, he like straightens up and he starts to head out this way.
Okay.
And even if you give chase, he's quickly out of sight because he heads north, and then he breaks line of sight with those cargo containers.
Okay. He's Rhodian. Is there any other like defining feature, eye patch, tattoo, anything like that?
Nope. He's
Okay.
not like in
Nondescript?
armor or anything, but
Okay.
typical like, everyone's got a myriad taste in clothing, but he's got dark brown pants and a vest, and you didn't necessarily see a weapon, but that doesn't mean he wasn't carrying a weapon, but just a Rhodian in, for lack of a better way of putting it, kind of like smuggling gear, the Han Solo, like pants, vest, whatever. He's not in Jedi robes or Mandalore armor.
Got it.
Not yet.
All right.
It's Greedo. Make sure you shoot first.
After I see him, I quickly but cautiously look around and see if there's maybe anybody else that's been kind of watching us.
Nope, you don't see anybody else.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, cool. I will continue on towards the cantina. Albeit at a very slow, sort of nonchalant sort of jaunt. I'm not in any rush to get anywhere.
On your
All right.
walk back to
Okay.
the cantina, you do not see him or, in fact, any other Rhodians that might have been him.
Okay.
So you don't know where he took off to. But, again, might not have been anything malicious. There's apparently a bunch of rumors spreading around, so maybe he just wanted to see what was going on. But if you head all the way to the cantina, you will in fact find a portly Corellian at a booth near the bar.
Okay. I'll look over to Sasquatch and say, well, maybe when Kodo gets back from looking at all the ships, we can see if he noticed anything interesting about the ships in the hangars here. And then, are you gonna say anything?
I nod.
Okay, I saw you like looking at it. Okay. All right, so I'm going to the cantina. And hello, Zamira.
Hello.
Do you already have a drink?
Yep.
All right, I gotta catch up. So, just gonna chat up with CeeLo for a sec, and we can very clearly see the portly fellow, right? We know it's Warun.
Yeah, it's clear.
It's obvious. Is he sitting by himself?
He's sitting by himself. He has kind of his own booth. If you ask CeeLo, is that him? CeeLo will say, yeah, that's Warun.
Okay.
Guy's always in here.
Hello again, CeeLo. I will have my usual, as I expect him to remember my order from a couple hours ago.
Okay.
Which, and then my little friend here, Papito Chico, he is going to have, let's try, I take a look at him and size him up for a second. He'll have a Mai Tai this time around.
I shake my head no.
No? Oh, do you have, let's see,
Fuzzy navel.
anything resembling, and I'm like, kind of like drawing my words out to see if maybe he'll give me any indication as to what drink he likes. Let's just go with a pina colada. Let's try that again.
I emphatically shake my head yes.
Oh, good. Okay, he's in the mood for that one now. Let's go with that.
He's gonna spit it out of you.
Yeah, they're just gonna drop a grenade in it and just set it back on the counter and leave.
Don't tempt me.
Kodo, in the hangar adjacent to your hangar, you will see that there is 3 shuttle class ships parked. There's a Lambda. The other 2 don't necessarily know off the top of my head what they are, but this is a kind of a a bustling hangar. As you're in there, kind of walking around, there's people coming to and from the ships, and it seems like one of them's getting ready to leave pretty soon. So folks are boarding the one on the far right, the yellow one, and it will be apparently leaving within the hour. I didn't mean to interrupt bar shenanigans. I just saw Kodo making laps.
I was wondering if anyone would notice.
Do with that what you will, there, Kodo.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to ask, one of the people, like, hey, where's this one heading?
This ship is actually heading back into the core systems. It's got a few stops, but the final destination is going to be Coruscant. Are you looking for a ride?
Not to Coruscant, but I do admire the ship. Really nice.
I mean, she certainly gets the job done. You're not talking to like the captain or anything, but it's clearly somebody that's part of the crew. They're running fuel lines or whatever people do in the hangar. We make the trip back and forth a couple of times. There's always folks that want to head out here to the wheel to get away from it all when they can afford, and nothing says fun like losing all your money is in the casinos. So
ain't that the truth?
That is the truth. Is that what brings you out here? Vacation, fun, pleasure, business?
It's my first time out here. Kind of just taking it all in. I definitely have an affinity for ships, and just wanted to stroll around, see what was going on.
Well, this one's certainly reliable, but being just a passenger ship, we're not anything to do too much bragging about. Not like some of the ones I've seen on the higher decks or any of the pleasure yachts that have been around. I mean, even with this being independent space, there's still folks that aren't shy about the fact that they'll load up several dozen drunk tourists on a yacht and get out away from even the wheel security, and whatever happens.
Sounds like a good time.
Because of the implication.
Because of the
implication.
Wow.
Sam?
I've actually seen that episode.
Sam, what you got going?
They won't. Oh, Sam is heading into the droid repair shop.
Sure. I'm going to finish up a little bit of talk with Tally, since that's information that all of y'all could use, and then I'll get back to you and the droids.
No problem.
Tally, are you going to sit down with the informant, or are you hanging out at the bar?
Yes. Okay. So after a quick conversation with the bartender, just like you were saying, so is that fellow, all that great stuff. I kind of meander over to him and sit near him, not too close, and just say, "Hi there, I'm Tal, and these are my friends. This guy is Papito Chico, and I've got Zamira over here. We were actually hoping to have a little chat with you."
Well, chatting is certainly what I do best. The name's Warun, and it's the wheel, so there's always people coming and going, and I love hearing all the stories that they have. And in fact, I spend a little bit of time and effort renting this table from CeeLo there, because turns out people are always willing to get the word straight from the horse's mouth, or however the saying goes. And I have lots of information, but unfortunately it comes with a price. You, of course, have money to pay.
I look around, and does it seem like there's anyone really within earshot of us?
I mean, there's people,
Here and
but
there with loud
they're
music.
not listening to you. And the map is not an accurate representation of the the actual layout of the room, but it's clear that
Okay.
he pays, like he said, he pays for this booth, and so this booth
Sure.
is kind of in the front corner
It's
near
off.
the bar, but it's
Mhm.
it's separate from the other booth. So like this is a bigger private booth, and then there's the open space where the jukebox is before there's all the like, back to back booths in the main area. So you're fairly far away from something, but you're still within line of eye shot from the from CeeLo at the bar.
Okay. Actually, I lean in just a little bit. Roem from Isotech sent us over, and he said you'd be more than willing to help us out a little bit, and he, in return, would be willing to pay whatever price you ask.
You want to make a deception check on that? We're gonna let's see here. There's not stats for this guy, so considering that he's so the type of person he is, we're gonna call it purple and a red.
Okay, 1 purple, 1 red, clicking outside. But I have advantage.
All right. I have another check for you to make then. Give me a charm or a coercion check at average 2 purple.
2 purple, no red.
No red. 2 purple
Okay.
versus your charm or coercion, your choice depending on how you want this conversation to go.
Sorry, charm.
Nope, that's fine. Sam's talking shit down there in chat.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy is going to kind of chuckle to himself at your attempt to say that Rome's going to foot the bill. And he's going to say, well, I certainly admire your gumption. However, I've had my own dealings with Rome, and I know that he's not just going to send anyone over here and foot the tab for that. So I can appreciate your angle there, but I'm gonna need credits in advance on any information. So with that charm check, what you get is he will answer any questions you ask him. However, you must pay 10 credits before asking the question.
Can't blame a girl for trying. I lean back and kick my feet up on the table. I still have my drink in my hand.
I will note
go
that
ahead.
while he appreciates your attempt to get the questions for free, you've clearly kind of put him on edge. Like he's not upset, but he's paying attention, right? Like he's waiting for the next time that you try to get squirrely and stuff. So, what'd you say about what on the table?
Oh, I said I kicked my feet up. I don't know what you mean by that. Do you mean like don't do that? I don't know what you
No. I was reading and all I heard was up on the table, so I wanted to make sure you said feet on the table, not I put 10 credits on the table or whatever. But
sure.
yeah. So anyone at the table can ask any questions they want to this guy, and I will look up if he has answers and stuff, but you must pay 10 credits in advance, even if he doesn't necessarily have the answer to that question. So think about questions you might want to ask this guy, and I'm going to bounce over to Sam if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Sam, what you got?
All right. You said, what did you say the race of this guy was again? The repair shop asshole?
Same race as Kodo. He's a Celestin.
Okay. So Sam will walk up to him and be like,
My bad,
hello.
it's a she. I should read the second sentence before giving you information.
How do you tell the difference?
Never mind, that's inappropriate for the stream.
Hello, fleshy repair woman. My name is Sam, and I have come to inquire if you need any assistance within the shop.
She's going to finish tinkering what she's messing with and kind of wipe her greasy hands on a rag that she picks up from nearby. There's a cat being crazy on the chair behind me. She's going to wipe off her hands and stuff and say, "Fleshy, huh? That's your opening." And I thought I spent too much time around machinery and not enough around people. But you're looking for work?
Well, actually, I am here to inquire about perhaps borrowing some equipment, but I understand that this prospect would be unsatisfactory for you, unless, of course, you were given something in return, and all I can truly offer are my services.
Okay, let me see here. Basic description of this room is it's small, grimy, and filled with semi-functioning droids in addition to an impressive array of random parts scattered on shelves and half-open boxes. It's super noisy in here. There's beeps, there's whir, there's ratcheting gears, there's broken droids clicking and stuff like that, so it's kind of noisy in here. She's going to ask you...
I close my ear flaps. No, I'm just kidding.
She's going to ask you, what exactly is it that you're looking to borrow? Are you trying to borrow tools, or are you looking for a droid? What is it you're after?
Specifically, I need either a repair kit table or a slicer's kit table in order to complete a job that I have for... Oh, wait, what's the fucking name of that place again?
Isotech.
Yeah, for the Isotech corporation.
Well, I mean, I've certainly worked on the droids from Isotech before. We're neither friend nor foe. I mean, but I don't see what I get out of lending you an entire workbench to be drugged down to their laboratory.
Yes, that would essentially be what the parameters of my mission entail. However, as I said, I do not expect you to just hand something over for free. And he looks around to all like the half-working droids. I have great skill when it comes with repairing my own kind, and perhaps if you have any troublesome cases, I can give you assistance.
Sure. Give me either a charm or a coercion check.
Oh boy.
Yeah, right.
I'm really good at this, you guys.
We're actually gonna put it at... How much are you offering how long you'll work?
He has not said. No, I have not stated how long that would work.
Well, before the actual charm or coercion or negotiation check, she's gonna say, okay, well, when are you looking to borrow this, and how long do I have your services?
My crew and I are set to leave at least by tomorrow morning, so you can have my services for as long as you require until then. And I will only be requiring the table that I need for no more than an hour's time.
Okay, so I get 7 hours of work for 1 hour of use with the equipment.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, give me an average charm, coercion, or negotiation check.
Oh.
I'll let you pick, but keep in mind...
Doesn't matter, it's all the same.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're probably the same, but keep in mind that should line up with your... that should line up with your role play. If you're trying to be like, come on,
Oh, yeah, he's mostly negotiating, so yeah, that makes more sense. So average is 2 purple, right?
Yes, sir.
Ha-ha!
Aha! Yeah,
Nothing.
No. I don't think it's worth it to me because I run my own shop here. I don't have anyone that I can send with you to verify that I get my equipment back. and I certainly can't shut down. I have too much work here, so I can't go and watch you while you do whatever it is you need to do. So, unfortunately, as overworked as I may be, it's not worth it to me to essentially lose several hundred credits worth of equipment, which is necessary for the livelihood of my shop, for what equates to 6 to 7 hours of pay. I could pay someone for 6 to 7 hours worth of work and still find myself ahead in the game and not be down the thing that I need to survive. It's been hard going, and the work never stops here on the wheel, but I finally have my own shop, and I'm not ready to give that up just yet.
I understand. Do you perhaps know of anywhere else where I may acquire a slicer's table?
I will get back to you on that. The parts store might have that. I need to check on that.
Okay. You can just come back to me.
Yeah.
If anything, because Sam was actually planning on helping this person anyway, because he likes to fix droids.
Sure. There is a gear store and there's a part store, and you might be able to get it at either. Yeah. You could go look in the core book for me and see if the stuff on page 182 has either the droid repair or the slicer equipment.
Okay,
So,
you said 182? Hang on a second.
Of EOTE core. And I'm going to flip back over to the cantina if that's all right.
That's fine.
Did you guys think of questions for the informant?
All right, so I will, like I said, I'm in a very relaxed, like, blind position. All right, well, Waroon, you got me there. Can't blame me for trying.
Mm-hmm.
Roam actually did send us, but we are willing to throw a little coin your way for a couple of answers. I will pay him 10 credits and ask, I want to word it correctly, I suppose, but basically, I would like to ask him what information he's gleaned in the last couple of days, weeks about the, I'm going to pronounce it incorrectly, about the ship that we're searching for. Sorry.
Nala Or.
Yeah, Sa Nala Or.
Okay. Sure. Let's see here. I want you to roll me 3 ability dice, green ones, versus nothing. Just roll me 3 dice.
To do that, do I just click the
You
3
can
greens?
just
and
add them
then
in the dice pool. Just remember afterwards to clear your dice pool and don't be like Sam. Okay. That's just to give me some random number generator. So he's gonna tell you that. Remind me of your question. You wanted to see what information he's gleaned about the Sanala Or?
Basically, yes. And I'm not looking for stuff that's decades old. I'm looking for if he's got any new information regarding the. Well, I guess it's probably better to keep it general than vague. But
Yep. He's gonna let you know that there's a gang on the wheel called the Yayar clan that's been asking around, asking questions about the pod itself. He doesn't give you specific examples, but he says, "Yeah, these low life thugs that normally are around, they're nothing more than hired goons a lot of the time. They've been asking around a lot. A couple of them have been in here, but you know, my my sources. I've got lots of little birdies along the wheel, and they tell me that the Yayar clan is really interested in the fact that this hyperspace pod apparently showed up over at Isotech. I'm sure you guys know if you're working with Roam directly, but it seems that they're really interested in this pod, and looking to get more information on it.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys are good, Zamira, and all that, then I'm good. I'm not gonna probably ask him anything else.
Final
I'm
answer?
good.
I'm gonna pay for my drink at the bar, but I have not touched it. I've just left it there
Is it still on the bar or is it on the table with the informant?
on the bar.
Copy.
I go drink it.
You're feeding her habit.
And before we find out that Samira is actually the real alcoholic of the group.
Sure. For all of you that are well, all of you, I guess. There's multiple ways that you can go about getting information about various things now. So you can look up information about Tolgana itself, Isotech, and your patron Riom, whatever his name is.
Okay.
You can look up information on Raxus Prime, of course, as well as the ship, and you can do that by talking to this informant. You got the information kiosk. You can kind of do some mingling with the crowds, and so y'all can use knowledge underworld type checks. You can use streetwise checks, computer checks if you're using the kiosk or any other facilities infrastructure. Like if you wanted to go back to Isotech and you asked to use their computers or your shipboard computers to start looking up information. It's open field at this point. Y'all can go to any of the stores and do any of this information gathering, but this chunk of the game is about, you got, like I said, 7-8 hours before the droid gets here, and this is your chance, because you guys know that you're heading to far outer rim, right? You're not going to be able to buy gear, you're not going to be able to buy supplies, and you're not going to be able to look up anything on these planets or people or stuff once you get going. So now is your chance to get everything you think you're going to need for a romp in the jungle full of danger kitties, and any information that you want before you end up alone on a planet full of danger kitties.
Okay, sounds good. Let's see here. Kodo, are you heading back to our ship, or are you gonna still be hanging out? I'm over the com. Sorry, I should have said that.
I mean, if you want me back at the ship, I can head back. I'm just
Either way,
checking
or I
out.
can just swing by on our way to back towards like the kiosk and whatnot. I just want to check on the ship.
I mean, I can check on it. I'm wandering the hangars anyway.
All right, cool. I think I'm gonna head back to Isotech, see if I can do some research.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to like ping pong around or anything. Like,
Nope,
back
that's
and
what this
forth,
whole
but-
chunk of the, like, chapter 1 is very much like, you guys are on the wheel. If you want to go gamble for 7 hours, you can do that. If you want to go buy gear and get grenades and whatever, you can do that. If you want to spend the whole time in the cantinas just talking to people and getting an ear to the ground to try and find out rumors and stuff, it's up to y'all how little you want to interact with the wheel. But if you guys just want to go back to the ship and go, let's fast forward 7 hours until IT3 gets delivered, we can totes do that too.
I want to go gamble.
Oh boy.
I don't remember where that is.
It's off the
Lie.
map. But if you want to go to a casino, I have stuff for that.
I pay attention. It's down this hallway.
Yeah. I'm going to spend a second to look up that slicer gear for Sam so that he's not stuck in limbo.
Well, yeah. No, I found the page with the slicer gear on it. It just doesn't say anything about who carries it or what. It just because it like there's some of these stuff have like full descriptions of them, but the slicer gear just doesn't.
Yeah, I was mostly just looking to see if it was in like standard equipment or whether it was in some weird special table.
It's in security equipment in page 182. It's at the very bottom.
So, like I said, the gear shop carries stuff for page 182. I will verify that real quick. Yeah, I'll go ahead and say that he will buy and sell any of the gear listed on page 182 for comparable prices of those prices listed on 182. If you want to buy used gear, it's half off, but I'll just let you know right now he does not have used slicer gear.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't have the money for that shit anyway. I was just hoping to get as much information out of that pod as we could.
How much is it?
500 for slicer gear.
500.
We probably do kind of need that though.
Did you see the droid repair stuff anywhere, Sam?
I think it's up. It's on page like 181 or 180.
I meant like the actual price for it.
Oh, for the emergency repair patch?
I think it called it a droid workbench, but I don't know if that's something that's actually gear in the book or whether you would just need a droid shop like Dented Droid.
Oh, no, for basic repairs and stuff actually, it's the it's what I have. It's the fucking
repair kits.
Hang on. It's the tool belt and the yeah, the toolkit and the utility belt. The toolkit comes with
Okay.
It's a set of basic tools and gear for working on machines and droids. And you can and the actual description for it basically like it has everything that you need to like weld and fucking all that shit. So you can repair droids with it.
And you have that?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I will give it to you at, if you want to try to repair the pod, you can do it at a hard check, 3 purple, but no setback.
Okay. All right. Cool. I will do that then. I will go back to Isotech and probably meet up with Talek as soon as I get there.
Okay.
Sounds good. Yeah, little Papito and I are gonna probably checking out the pod again to protect it and make sure we're doing okay.
Sure. You're asking to use his computers and stuff to search for information?
Yes, that sounds good. The pod is like
It's
here?
back in the labs to the
Back in here.
south. Yeah.
Okay.
Not
Is
super
Roam
important.
still, like,
Again, remember the
around?
map is just for visual
Oh, sure,
aid.
sure. Yeah,
But
sorry.
back in the back rooms, there's a laboratory with the pod set up and all the wires drug out across to it and stuff. Roam is not in the office that he was in when you all came in, and he's not in the lab with the pod.
Okay.
Are you asking the secretary, like specifically where he is, or are you just asking to use the computers and see the pod again?
Yeah, I'll ask her where he is, if he's available.
Remember, it's like a little protocol droid. She's going to just say that Roam is making preparations for his flight. He will be leaving probably about the same time that all of you are. He has much work to be done, especially if this pod reveals what he thinks it shall.
Okay.
Is there a complication or anything that would warrant me getting his attention, or is there anything I can help you with?
No, that's okay. I was just curious if maybe he had any idea where if we needed any specific gear sets or maybe like I don't know, a speeder or something for this trip since we won't be able to have access to it in a few days.
Considering the location that the pod came from, he has never been to Cholgana itself, but rumors and information available to us show that it is a mostly uninhabited wild jungle planet, so appropriate preparations for such adverse terrain need be made.
Got it, thanks. Well, I think Sam's going to have better luck than I am with research in there. So I will stay
There,
put
there
for a
is
few.
there is the computer if you want to do like research while he's fucking with the
Okay.
pod.
Okay, yeah.
But what are you wanting to look up?
Let's see. How about we've gotten a lot of information from Roem, so I will just look up like if there's like archives or library or something that I can look up just basically any information at all about the
The
Sam-
Wikipedia.
Yeah. So
Nalor.
Sa Nalaor.
Nalor.
Sa Nata Na.
Sauteed mushrooms.
Sure. If you want to give me a computers check.
Oof.
Don't
All
worry
right.
about rolling purple. Just give me a computers check. And then Sam, it was
Hard. 3
hard.
purple.
Yeah, 3 purple for you.
And it's mechanics, right? To repair.
Let me look. It's on a different page. Let me actually give information to Tali real quick before I change page.
Are there multiple computers that I could be doing the same thing?
Yeah, sure. Sweet mother of God. Tali, what you know is the ship was a banking clan frigate, and since it was part of the Separatists, you know, the folks that did the battle droids and all of that stuff, it carried thousands of battle droids, but it only actually had a crew of about 50 humanoids, so it was mostly an automated frigate with a robotic crew, and then very, very minimal, considering the size of the ship, very minimal fleshy meat sacks aboard. Paquinto over there is able to do some research and find that Captain Harzal, the person who was piloting the ship and the one that did this whole making a run for the border with all the technology, he was actually a Republic naval officer before defecting and joining the Separatist movement during the start of the Clone Wars. And it's rumor. You can't find anything one way or the other, but you have found several bits of information where it's hinted that he might have served with General Grievous on the flagship Invisible Hand.
Sweet.
It is I'll give you either mechanics or computers check for repairing the pod, but know that it asks for a computers check.
Oh, it does? Okay, that's fine. It's the same either way.
Sure. 3 purple computers check.
Ha!
Sweet mother
Wait,
of
oh
God.
jeez. God damn it, the fucking 3 purples. It's like if you stay clicked into the fucking thing, it doesn't
Right.
register. You have to like unclick from where you typed it in and then fucking hit the button, and I keep forgetting to do that.
Just roll the purples and we'll... Okay.
Wow.
So we'll knock off 2 successes, and then that should be... I count a success, a threat, and a triumph, right?
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, because both of my advantages get knocked off. Yeah.
Okay. So here's what you got. You are actually able to work on the pod enough that rather than just the actual rather than vague coordinates, you are actually able to recover the vector that the Sanala ore was traveling at when the pod was fired by using your sweet computer savviness to backtrace the intertubes, and so you get the ship's vector. And what that's going to allow you to do is, on the final hyperspace jump, once you guys leave the trade route and try to jump out to where this pod came from, you are going to reduce that check. Write this down. You're going to reduce your final astrogation check by 1 setback due to your single success. And you are going to add 2 boost die to that check. So remove 1 setback from astrogation checks to travel to Chogana and add 2 boosts with that triumph.
I'm just gonna put this in party now.
Sure. Subtract 1 setback, add 2 boost. Rick, you're back at the ship?
Yeah.
That thing we talked about happens.
Oh. So I've done everything I did in that situation before?
Yep.
Okay.
In fact, call it 10 to 15 minutes. You're going to find yourself right about here, following that thing that we were talking about. You came this way.
Okay.
And you have eyes on the prize.
And the important stuff, has Zamira won us any money?
High stakes, hyperspace, gambling. You can actually find a bookmaker. His name is Joe Cole. He's a Duros, and he collects wagers.
His name is Joe Cool.
Joe Cole. Yes, Joe Cool. He's a Duros. He will definitely take bets on pretty much anything. There's lots of game tables in the casino, but you can also bet on any of the sporting events and stuff that are being displayed on any of the holo displays. Is there anything in particular you're looking to do in the casino, hun?
Make lots of money.
Aren't we all?
You should bet that you'll let him win if he gives you lots of money.
Yeah. Do they have any
There's Dejaric tables, there's Sabic tables, there's, just chance cube, dice type tables. And then, like I said, there's small holographic projections of various sports, races, both animal and vehicle races.
Pod racing?
One of the dice games.
And just note that you will need to check weapons before entering. I don't know if you're carrying your vibro axe and gun with you, but you will have to check it at the entrance before going in, based on the nature of things.
Okay.
Reading. I don't see that it actually has anything for gambling. Let me open character sheets and see what relevant skills might apply to that. Improv is fun, you guys.
Woo.
Also, since I opened a character sheet, don't forget that you guys have light side, dark side, destiny points if y'all want to use them for things.
Keep forgetting about those.
Yeah, I don't even know what the fuck we use those for.
Yeah.
Basically, you can use them for like an automatic success on a skill check and things like that.
You can,
but the more we use them, the more dark side points happen that the GM gets to use.
Right, so it's a shared resource. You guys can flip all of the white ones to impact the story for the better. I can use all of the black ones to impact the story for the worse. So while making a particular check, Sam, right? Sam wants to work on the pod. He couldn't get the droid repair kit from the lady, but he could flip a destiny point to be like, 15 minutes ago, a salvage ship arrived and just unloaded a bunch of used gear at the gear shop, and there happens to be a slicer kit. If they didn't have one, he can flip it and say they have one. If you wanted a particular NPC to suddenly be here, or to suddenly, if you wanted to like have an established backstory with someone, right? So Tali was sitting down with the informant. She could have flipped the light side point to say, I've talked to this guy previously. We have a relationship. I automatically, I want to be able to pay at the lowest rate, right? For his 10 credits a question. She could have just automatically succeeded and not worried about failing and had been charged 15, 20, or whatever credits per question. She could have just flipped and said, well, according to my backstory, where I've talked to this guy 15 times before, me and him already have an established relationship. So you can affect the narrative in that way. Meanwhile, I can flip the dark ones to be like bad things. Not like there's 50 guards standing outside the room, but like, oh, you were tinkering with the you were tinkering in Isotech's computers, and you started looking up information about Isotech. I'm going to flip a point to say that all of their computers track user history, and he now knows that y'all were doing more research on him and is going to keep that in mind, like those kind of things. I don't have better examples on the spot, but just know that that is a resource that y'all can be like, no, I want to flip a light side point to say that I beginner's luck, walk in, roll on the dice table, and bam. And you can't just automatically rewrite reality, but you can greatly boost your checks and change the narrative.
Okay.
Science,
Got it.
I can rant more about them when we're not already at 9:30. But yeah. Hun, if you want to give me, we'll call it an average skullduggery check. We'll see if you win some stuff, and let me know how many credits you want to wager on this dice game.
Use some light side points so we walk away with a lot.
Oh,
Yeah, but then he might turn around and use dark
Yes.
side points to make us fucked.
someone's
Totally
gonna mug her
worth
on
it.
the way back.
I think I have like 400 credits, right?
Let me check your sheet. It's on the first tab where it says character info.
Should
You
use his
have
light side pointer.
572.
Light side
So
points, the table's
I'll
broken and it's paying out
bet-
max.
But then on our way back, he uses dark side points and she gets fucking robbed by some fucking creepy ass.
She's the tank of the party. She'll be fine.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that she's very perceptive. People can pickpocket, you know.
Rick, that droid goes into the dented droid repair shop.
That makes sense.
Which
I'll
is right
wager 100 credits.
Sure. And then, like I said, give me an average skullduggery check.
So 2 purple.
Yes. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh,
that
no.
one GM goes. Oh no!
I didn't do so good at that.
All right. So you don't lose money outright, but over a couple of games, you lose some, you win some, you lose some, and you end up right about where you're at. But people are actually, I'll keep my thread a secret on that one. unless you want to make any kind of perception checks or anything. But how are you? What's your demeanor? Are you happy? Are you angry that you're not winning anything? Tell me about you gambling and not winning money.
Well, I had 2 of my own drinks and then 2 Mai Tais, so I'm probably just happy no matter what.
Got it.
Pina coladas. I don't like my ties.
All right. Do you want to continue or consider yourself lucky that you haven't lost money and move on to a different game?
One more time.
Okay. We'll keep it at average for now, and another skullduggery check. Hey! A total net 0 gambling night. 2 threats, 2 advantages, absolutely no successes, absolutely no failures.
She's super good at gambling, you guys. Like,
best,
super good.
The best.
Drunk, hired bodyguard that wandered into a casino on a place that's designed to rip off drunk bodyguards and separate them from their money.
But I had like the best time ever.
That's all that matters. Plus, you're going to be coming into some money soon, right?
You actually come up a net positive of 4 credits.
Woohoo!
Yeah, 4 credits.
Which I believe set you even on the drinks. You said like 2 credits, Steven?
About would be my guess.
Yeah, so she's able to pay tally back for her drinks if need be, but not yours. Kodo, that droid, has wheeled itself into the shop and parked against the wall and has appeared to have shut off. In the dented droid is the female Celestin that I previously described to Sam. Let me know if you need a rehash on the description or whatnot, but there's a female in here just going to town working on a different droid, not the one that you're following.
I guess I could be like, hey, is this your droid?
What?
Is this your droid?
She takes a second and finishes what she's mucking around inside of a small astromech droid that she's working on, and then spends it looks like she has to think about it for a second, and goes, "No, it looks like just one of the repair droids from the hangar. They're programmed to return here if they ever need work done. So I haven't taken a look at that one yet. I don't know what, if there's a trouble ticket in for it or what, but it's not uncommon. Are you trying to buy it?"
Well, no, but I would like to know, is there any reason that it would be messing around on my ship? Because it was.
I mean, it's a hangar repair droid. Did you request maintenance done on your ship?
No.
Do you have any idea what it was doing? I mean, there's tons of them. They're in and out of the hangars all the time, working on ships, performing diagnostics. It's a hangar repair droid. They're in the hangar and they do work in the hangars. So,
But would it have a reason to do anything with the ship, of someone who didn't request it? Because I checked on my ship. This droid was at my ship messing around, and then it took off, trying to find out what it was doing.
I mean, we can run a diagnostics on it if you want. I need to finish up what I'm working on. It shouldn't take too long to see if it's. I mean, it got the instructions to come here, so it might be damaged or just due for routine maintenance. But again, without some sort of diagnostics, it's just a droid, and they're all the time in the hangar. So I don't know what you want from me. We can give it a check if you'll give me just a moment.
That sounds like a wonderful plan.
Okay. Fast forward like 10-15 minutes while she like finishes plugging the components that she had ripped out of the astromech back into it, and she's clearly not done working on it, but she will take a moment to like hook the treadwell droid that you were following up to the computer, the droid repair bench she's got there, and we'll run a quick diagnostics and just say, no, it seems to be functioning perfectly fine. It looks like it came in here for its routine maintenance. I don't see any record that it was doing anything specific to any specific ships. Which hangar are you in? Insert name of your hangar here that I have not given you. The one across the hall.
Yes.
Checking its history, I don't see any record of it doing anything in that hangar. I don't see anything out of the ordinary. It looks like it just did its routine today and then reported here.
I mean, what is its routine? Like, does it check each hangar, or because it was in my hangar and then I followed it to what's the hangar on the far right where
Yeah, the private hangar.
Yeah, I followed it to the private hangar.
Give me just a second. It's a treaded unit about 1 meter tall and common sight in the galaxy. Numerous arms sporting various tools, fusion cutters, spot welders, foam sealant, torque wrench, power calibrator, and other things. But they're just, again, they're part of the hangar staff. Like, it's not uncommon for them to just be in a hangar, and when you dock at a hangar, it makes sure that your ship is good to go basically before taking off again. It's not going to like come up on your ship, but just like much of the equipment that's scattered about at any airport, like it's just on hand if you need it to use. Like, it's not something where you would park and suddenly it runs up and jumps on your ship and starts doing stuff, but it's not uncommon that it wouldn't be like hooking the ground to your ship so that your ship is grounded to the station floor itself, running coolant lines, any of those things so that your ship is running off of station power, not onboard auxiliary power units, like that kind of just tedious bullshit. So it's not uncommon that it would be in and around your ship doing something, but again, you guys didn't necessarily request that.
Yeah.
She doesn't see any foul play, and when she tells you, again, she told you it's routine. It went to several ships, it did what it was supposed to do, and then it reported straight here. There's nothing out of the ordinary in its records.
Okay, well, thanks for the info. Still seems a bit strange, but if you insist that it's that everything is normal, I'll take your word for it.
Well, again, I don't know what you saw or what you didn't see, and she kind of like, she has the computer monitor on like a swiveling desk mount, and she kind of angles it towards you like the random lines of code mean anything to you, and says it did what it was supposed to do, and then it is just reported here for me to do routine maintenance. So I can only tell you what it tells me, and it's not telling me anything.
All right, well, thank you for the info.
You
Sorry
bet.
to bother you.
No worries. I'm glad I could help, I guess.
So if I go back to the ship, could I like roll some dice and see if I notice anything out of the ordinary?
Sure. What do you want to do? Like,
guess.
are we walking around underneath the ship looking up under the ship? Are we getting back on the ship and running diagnostics? Like, what actions are we taking so I know what to make you roll?
I think, the first thing would be just looking underneath the ship, because that's kind of where it was and being like, can I see if it did anything? Can I see if anything's looking not normal?
Roll a perception check, but don't roll any purple dice. Just make a perception check,
Okie dokie. Let me
and then
clear the pool.
I'll see what you get, and that will determine what you get. A whole bunch of advantages, but no successes of any kind.
Yeah.
Okay, you are pretty confident that there is nothing different about the bottom of your ship. You don't see any new holes cut in it. You don't see any new wires attached. You don't see anything that, like, the things that should be connected, like I said, like auxiliary or station power, so that you're not running ship battery. Like, everything's connected, so you don't see any kind of sabotage.
Okay.
Cool.
Could I then go and run diagnostics, even though at this point I'm pretty confident that nothing's going to come up?
Sure. I won't even make you roll for it, but diagnostics come up clean. It doesn't look like anything has been tampered with on your ship.
Cool. Then I guess I will slump in the pilot's chair and feel sort of like an idiot, but still convinced that something's not right.
Copy. The group of you in Isotech, we got about 10 minutes before we start winding down. Is there anything else you guys want to do before droid delivery?
No, not that I can think of. I just wanted to repair this pod and get as much out of it as we could, and I did that, so I think I'm good.
Right now, the group is about 6 hours into the designated 8 hours before the droid arrives. Last call on anything to be done. And
I'm
if
good.
so,
I think I'm good.
do you guys go back to the ship to wait? Do you hang out in the cantina? Like, what do you do for the next 2 hours?
I'll head back to the ship.
Okay.
I think I'll stay in this area for a little longer, just in case prying eyes might try to come in and look at the pod before we go. I don't want anyone to get kind of like a drop on us or get like a head start before we head out.
Okay, when you say this area, you mean like Isotech
Sorry,
Labs?
by the pod. Yeah, yep.
Okay.
In the lab.
Longshanks, you stay in at Isotech?
Yeah.
Zamira, you've spent a couple hours in the casinos to no real gain, but again, no real loss. You hanging out there? You heading back to the ship? You want to go to Isotech? Go back to the bar?
I'll go back to the ship and take a nap.
Got it.
Sleep it off.
Well, that was weird.
What was that?
Could have been a Maverick or a squeaky computer chair.
Hmm.
It wasn't
yeah,
from
might have
us.
been. Well, it might have been from my chair.
Okay.
It wasn't for me this time.
I was looking at a different monitor. I didn't see what mic it came from. But we are now about 5 minutes out, and you actually get a contact from. Actually, there's two of you in Isotech. So the droid secretary is going to tell you, IT3 should be arriving at your ship within 5 minutes.
All right, cool. I guess we're about ready to go. What do you think, Papito? Ready to go?
I'd nod.
All right. I do one last sweep as I exit the building just to see if anybody's paying attention.
You don't see anything. If you want to give me a perception check.
Okay.
No bad die though. Just give me a perception to see what we got. Yeah, you don't see anything.
Okay.
And you won't see anything on the trip back to the ship.
Okay.
You can make it there in under 5 minutes. Are you?
Okay.
I mean, you don't have to run. I'm just saying the walk there won't take you the full 5 minutes. So all of you can be back at the ship at the pre-designated, like the droid should be arriving anytime in the next 5 to 10 minutes window. 5 minutes pass.
Unrelated. Does
Banana.
anybody think this kind of looks like a face? I feel like I've been looking at it for like a couple straight hours. And now
Yeah.
I see like the eyes,
Yes.
mouth.
Yeah, it almost looks like if you painted it green, it would almost look like a weird frog.
Yeah. Okay.
8 minutes pass.
All right. Well, that was definitely supposed to be here. I will kind of wander out and look in the area and just see if maybe they're on their way or if I see anybody at all.
Nope.
Okay, so that's
been
probably
10
not a
minutes.
super great sign. I'm gonna wander my way back towards Isotech.
I'll follow her.
I'll follow her as well.
Which
I'm
direction?
staying on the ship.
Okay.
Copy.
Which direction were they coming from? Like from over here?
You did not receive
we don't
that
know?
information. You can, we're going to say that Rome and his secretary have your contact information, so if you wanted to come to them and ask,
Oh, okay.
you could attempt to do that.
I will attempt to do that now.
And ask where the, what do you, well, go ahead. Just,
Yeah,
what do you
what's your
say?
ETA? Yeah. Hey, we're hanging out. We're waiting on you guys. You have an ETA for us or an update?
No response.
Okay, coming right back over here. Is Isotech locked up? Can we get in?
The door is actually wide open. Once you
Oh,
come
come
around
on.
the cargo containers and stuff, you see that unlike earlier, both times you came back, you had to be buzzed in by the droid lady. The door is currently open.
We were just here to keep that from happening. Okay, so we come in. Does it look like there's anything stolen? Is the pod damp gone?
In a bit of interestingness, it's been about 15 minutes since you were last here, and the last time you were here, the secretary lady was at the front desk, and Rome was not here. When you round the corner to the open door, you're going to see the following. You see that the secretary lady is not in the front office, and when you open the back droid back towards Rome's office, you open the door to find two unconscious human guards laid out across the desk. They're wearing paramilitary uniforms, but they're not the wheel security guards that you're used to seeing. A few meters away, stand by. Yeah, so the place looks tossed. A few meters away, there's stuff scattered about on the floor, and there's these two humanoids that you haven't seen before in like not combat gear, but like almost like police style gear, but not the station's police.
Great. All right, I get on the
drawing
comm
my pistol.
Yeah, Sam's blaster pops out the top of his arm.
To let everybody know that's not there that what's going on, that we are definitely compromised, so that Kodo and Zamira know as well. And then can I draw my weapon also?
Yep. So you guys can all
do that.
draw weapons and stuff. Keep in mind that like the main corridor is still very much a civilian, like there's civilians doing civilian things out there and stuff. I will go ahead and let you know that if you search the laboratories, while the front office and whatnot is ransacked, and so is Rome's office, the secured doors that led back to where the message pod is not open. So it does not look like they got to the message pod, but it looks like they ransacked whoever ransacked the office. And more so confusingly is these two human guards.
And they're
'Cause-
unconscious, right?
Yeah, they're unconscious. And like they're not isotech security, and you don't understand why. Like it's very confusing. Like who the hell are these guys, and why are they unconscious here?
Talik, perhaps we should check into the back laboratory.
Yep, sounds good. I'll take point on that. Just
If
kinda
you
cautious step forward.
I'll just go ahead and, especially since we're getting towards the end of our time limit, let you know that if you
Okay.
search the laboratory, you're not going to find anything different. You can access earlier when you came back, and we're giving access to the pod and the computers and stuff. If you use the access code again, you get back there. The pod's still there. The computers are still there. Whoever came in was unable to get past the inside security doors. They were able to jump. They were able to break the outside and get into Rome's office and the foyer, but not into the laboratories.
Okay. Unconscious. Oh, go ahead.
What's the equivalent of like a good insight check? Somebody can give me just a straight intelligence or cunning roll to kind of
I
help
think
you out.
insight would be.
Let me open a character sheet here.
Oh
I'm just looking
man,
for
that
like.
is hard.
I want to give you like
Perception, maybe?
it's not necessarily perception. Give me like somebody or all of you like just give me cunning rolls or maybe even an intellect roll. You can pick one or the other.
All right, I'll
Have a-
do.
Oh, go ahead.
I'll do perception. Are we adding anything to it or just?
Again, I'm not
base?
looking for. Well, yeah, sure. Any cunning or intelligence skill, but not something that you have ranks in. So I'm just trying to get like a
Oh, okay.
putting clues together kind of vibe. Like, there we go.
Streetwise.
My skullduggery is pretty good.
Pretty good. All right. I can work with that, and I even got Kodo back on the ship. So these guys, these unconscious guards, you're thinking that I'm not gonna name one specific character, but based on what I rolled and what you guys rolled, you feel like maybe these guards might have been the people responsible for delivering the droid to you guys. So it's very possible that the droid was intercepted en route, and then like whoever did that came back here trying to get to the pod but was unable to do so. Like that's the feeling you're getting. Like these guys don't look like they are part of the bad guys who were breaking in. These guys look like they might have been the security detail for Isotech. They don't have any Isotech badging on them or anything, but it looks like they may have been knocked unconscious and then brought here, and that's why they're slumped across the desk. Like they didn't land on the desk because they were beat up. Somebody knocked them out and then brought them here and kind of just like, what do I do with this guy? And then, dropped them across the desk while attempts were made to break into the back door.
Okay. Can I bring either one of them around? Like, I shake them, see if they'll answer or wake up at all?
You can try. They do not respond currently. And just for the record, we are entering a time-sensitive event here, basically. So you can choose to wait until the guards wake up, but just know that we are, air quote, in kind of an initiative order. So time is passing depending on your actions.
Okay. Are we starting next session with that, or are we going to continue this and try to finish it out? Because it's like whatever you think is best.
Tell me how long you guys feel like you can play for.
Well, if it's only like 10, 20 minutes, that's fine with me, but it's up to you
Yeah,
guys.
I'm trying to get a vibe. Like, I can play 15, 20 more minutes and probably wrap this
Resolve
up.
Okay.
Depending on what y'all... It's going to depend on what you guys do. But if you give me 15 more minutes, we can get to a solid stopping point one way or the other.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm
If
in.
anything, the guy in Louisiana is a bit ahead of us.
Yeah, fuck that
Yeah,
guy.
I mean it's midnight for me, but it's fine. Don't worry about it.
All right.
Okay.
So you guys radio
Continuing.
back to Kodo and Zamira on the ship, and you say, "Hey, the
Yeah.
officers got ransacked and all that stuff, but I need immediate actions. What are y'all doing to try and rectify the situation of the droid is stolen?"
Okay. So okay, you said that they broke in. They had to have been able to bypass the fucking security of the door. I'm gonna go and check the mechanism around that opens the door and see if I can get like a hacking signature or something off of it.
No, but you checking out the door, you see that not only can it be opened controlled from the inside, but there's biometric scanning on the outside, so it's very likely that the unconscious guards in the other room would have easily been stick an unconscious guy's hand on the door and it would have opened. Like, the door is not physically broken,
Okay.
so they could have very easily got in that way.
Is it possible to raise some sort of station-wide alarm or call 911? Get Mastercom on the line?
You can certainly go to the kiosk and do that, or attempt to use any of the Isotech computers to contact either Will Security or Mastercom.
That's what I'm gonna try and use the receptionist computer.
Sure. What do you tell? Are you trying to contact Will Security or Mastercom?
Wheel Security,
Okay.
saying that there has been a break-in, assault, and several injured here at Isotech.
Okay. They will let you know that they are dispatching security now to your location.
Okay, I quickly give up on the guards. They're worthless right now. So
Yep.
I run out past into the door here. Over the comms, I'm going to talk to Kodo real quick. Kodo, when you were looking over all the ships earlier, was there anyone that seemed like they were getting ready for a long haul, like they were going to be taking a crew and they were going to be going like pretty far distance?
I talked to the crew on one ship and they said they were going to Coruscant, but it just seemed like, I mean, at least described to me that it was just a regular passenger ship going to Coruscant and back.
Okay, and which ship was that?
What was the ship?
Yellow
It
one.
was that one. Yeah, it was yellow one.
A couple of different shuttles in here. Nothing major. Not like things that you would take out to Cholgana.
Okay.
Rick, in your Kodo, has a side adventure story. If you were going to make guesses off of like ships with actual armament and supplies and stuff, either of the ships in the private hangar are more to that matter over like a Lambda class shuttle. You're not going to take a Lambda to Cholgana, but like with y'all's ship having a hyperdrive and armament, both of the ships in the private hangar.
The big gray one belongs to Freddie Prinze Jr., and I refuse to believe that he'd be behind this. So,
Copy.
What are you talking about, man? Freddie Prinze Jr. is the devil.
No, you're making
there are
with
also
John
hangars. You can. Again, we're working with a theater of the mind map assistance, but there are doors here and on the other side of the map that there's a whole station. So.
Sure. Okay. Well, Zamira and Kodo, if you guys are cool heading over this direction, that would be greatly appreciated. We're gonna have to fan out and try to find the droid before it gets taken away. I'll head into this hangar to just like scout. I'm actually, what time of day is it? Is it like middle of the night? It'd be really weird for people to be around, or?
So again, Space Las Vegas. There is artificial
always
day, but it's Space Las Vegas, so there's always stuff going on, because even though there's an artificial day on many of the levels, a lot of people are arriving at what is essentially their morning, even though it is artificial midnight. So the city never sleeps.
Okay. Regardless, I walk into the hangar and kind of scout out if I'm looking for the droid or maybe even the Rhodian from earlier.
All right. I'm gonna just go ahead and let you guys know that I'm gonna veer away from the way the book does things here, just for the interest of time. We'll go ahead and have y'all step into this hangar as you see 5 Rhodians with what you can assume to be your droid on a grav lift heading towards that ship. We are not using the grid, so it is not this. It's not this far. Imagine a huge hangar. There's cargo boxes stacked everywhere and stuff, and they are roughly half the distance between the door that you guys are entering and a YT 2400 ship. And there's one of them is like pushing the grav lift, 2 of them are right next to him, and 2 of them are kind of flanking back and watching towards the doorway. They are armed and they have a droid, and one of them is the guy you saw earlier, Tali.
So there's cargo and shit all over the place, right? So I can just like hide behind one of the boxes.
Sure.
Like crouch behind it to be hidden.
Sure.
Okay, so over the comm, I communicate that our droid is definitely being stolen. Looks like there's 5 Rhodians with our droid, and we're gonna need to make a quick plan.
There's about 65, 70 feet between them and the loading ramp, so act fast or forever lose your droid.
Sorry, I'm not sure what this... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I start running towards the hangar after getting the call.
Same.
Yelling out my Chadra fan battle cry.
It's time.
Which is more of a...
Oh no, please stop, please stop.
That's the best.
Oh no.
Fantastic. Papito was officially best boy.
Right. So again, there's meant to be like a hallway chase scene, but I'm gonna just go ahead and cut past the like a drunk patron walks out of the bar and slows you down as you're trying to close the distance, and we're just gonna move into the shootout because I think this is the most appropriate ending of this. So I guess I could have made some Rhodian tokens or something.
Would have been a good idea.
Yeah, well,
I think Rhodian tokens would be more apt right now.
That's what I said.
That lost me.
He's making fun of my accent.
Oh.
It did kind of sound like you said Roydian.
Wait, that's not what he's been saying this whole time?
They're just really jacked alien bodybuilders.
They all now have a brawn of 6.
The fucking threshold for damage of just too much. It's all too much.
No, but like for realsies, what is it supposed to sound like?
Rhodian.
Again, theater of the mind. But combat.
Okay.
Ready, set. What are you doing? Are you shooting at them? Are you yelling?
I'm throwing
Fire.
a grenade.
We
I'm
are.
shooting.
Yeah, we got a little
I'll
element of
shoot.
surprise going.
How
Maybe.
how
Shoot
closely
this guy.
clustered are they actually?
So there's one of them
What
pushing the
helps like that?
sled. They're not just like that. There's one of them pushing the sled, and there's one to either side of the sled. Not like they don't have hands on it, but close enough that they can reach out and touch the droid if they need. So imagine 3 of them engaged with the sled. 2 of them are hanging back and are at short range from the sled, but could get to the sled without too much effort. But those 2 are clearly the ones watching their tail as they were attempting to be inconspicuous. So the couple of minutes that you spent in Isotech, they were not just like hauling with this thing because they were not trying to raise suspicion because they still have to take off out of this hangar. So they were just like, we got a droid, let's get to our ship when you guys, the gig is up them. So 3 of them engaged with the sled, dun, 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 and 2 of them within short range. You guys are currently we'll call it medium. Anyone in the back of the crowd, long range from them.
So don't throw a grenade then, I think.
How far can you throw a grenade?
Short range.
Yes.
That's
Don't-
not a good distance to throw a grenade.
Nope.
I'll
Alright.
start shooting at him.
Well, it's not
So-
engaged. It's
Wait,
not.
I'm in medium or long range, you said?
You can be in medium if you want. You can be in long if you were pulling up the back of the pack.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, I was definitely making sure I stay in range. Yeah, I'm gonna shoot this fucking asshole right here.
Okay, well, they were prepared for a fight, so let's all go ahead and roll initiative. Do you guys remember how to do that?
Yeah,
Not
cool
no.
if we're prepared and vigilant if we're not. And unless you give us any weird modifiers, it's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So were we prepared?
You had guns out and you were definitely searching for the droid, so we'll go ahead and just say everyone can roll cool because they were likewise watching their tail.
Holy fucking shit.
Cool
That's
is
Alex
Wow.
just like, I go all the time. Get all of the turns.
cool is based off presence, guys. I don't have a character sheet open.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Yeah, presence.
I can't tell, it doesn't say on my sheet.
It's fine. It's fine. Oh, look, I rolled a goddamn triumph. All right, so we are looking at... Tali is carrying the crowd. So it is PC, PC, NPC, 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 PC, PC, NPC, PC. And I will type that out in just a second. But you guys get 2 turns, so start thinking about who it is.
I say we have
Okay.
the heavy hitters go first.
Who are you saying are the heavy hitters?
Me and Zamira.
All right, go for it then.
I mean, okay, I'm not sure about this, but how does movement work? Like, how far can you move in combat?
Okay, so with the range, engage to short is 1 maneuver, short to medium is 1 maneuver, and I believe medium to long is 2 maneuvers.
Yes, and vice versa.
Okay.
Yeah.
You are in medium and you can attack them right now. Shooting them is a average difficulty of 2 purple. You can close the distance by using your maneuver this turn to get yourself in short range, which I believe... I gotta open a different book now because of combat. Short range is average or easy, Steven?
I do not remember. I'm sorry. You expect me to know the most basic rules? Come on.
Where would I look that up at?
It's in the core rulebook.
Ranged attack difficulties.
that.
Short is easy, 1 die. Medium is average, 2. So if you want to run up to short range, you can attack with your ranged weapons at an easy shot. However, it will also be easy when they are attacking you back. And if any of them are using melee weapons, they can appropriately jump from short to engaged with you to attack you.
So I will maneuver to short range, and I will shoot at one of the 2 that were ready. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to add the dice.
Yeah, there should be like some sort of challenge.
1 die, right? Can I just roll the 1?
Yeah, just roll a 1. Get a failure. There you go.
Ooh.
Oh.
Your shot misses. Is there anything particular you'd like to do with your advantage? Keep in mind that there's that advantage chart in the resources channel on Discord.
Yeah, let me look that up real quick. Can
Can
we skip ahead
Can
while I'm
help
looking?
out the next person.
Yeah, you can just pass a boost die to the next person. But while you look that up, I'm going to remind the group, you get 1 maneuver and 1 action a turn. You can use that maneuver to move forward like he did, but if you're quite satisfied with where you're standing, you could also like take the aim there's in the resources that I linked, there's multiple things that you can use your maneuvers for. So remember that there's more that you can do than just run and shoot.
Okay.
And I can actually spend all 5 of that advantage, right?
Yeah.
Like I
Sure.
can do
I
multiple
don't know.
items.
I'm terrible at this game, so yes. I spent like a majority of my time trying to get maps and campaign reading done, so I was not. Again, I've only GM'd a single session or a single game of this twice.
You're doing just fine.
Yeah, you are doing good.
Come on,
All right,
guys.
well, I'll give
help
boost
Get
to
a
the
thumbs up for me.
Carry your weight. Read the goddamn rule book. What are you doing?
Never.
I'm gonna give 2 boost to the allied character's next check, costing 3 advantage.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay.
So that's to Zamira, right?
Whoever wants to go next can go next and add 2 boosts to your next check.
And I can actually add a setback as well for 2 more advantage.
Wow.
So
Okay.
to whichever one I was shooting at, I guess.
Sure. We'll just pick a random one and say this one has a setback.
And that's all of it. All 5.
I'm going to just line them up for the sake of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool.
Cool.
Sounds good.
1 and 2 are the ones closest to you. 3 is pushing the cart. 4 and 5 are not pushing the cart. Who's next?
I'll go next. I'll run up to short range 2 and shoot at a different guy.
Okay. So that one.
Numbered.
And you get 2 boost.
Yep. So
1 purple.
1 purple. So 1 purple, 2 blue. There you go.
Nice.
So you are successful. You get +1 damage per success on your base damage of 6. So that is 8 damages and 3 advantages. Is there anything that you want to use those advantages for?
I'll give the next person a boost.
Okay. He's got armor, but you clearly hurt him.
Good shot.
The NPCs are going to take a turn. They're going to start with the 2 closest to you because that makes the most sense to them. Y'all are in short range. And they are wielding some heavy blaster pistols.
Oh.
Oh my.
Oh my. And they apparently know how to use them. You gave a setback to 1 though, right, Steven?
Yes.
Yeah, whichever one has the orange shit on his face.
Overall, 2 successes on the orange one shooting at Zamira, which means 8 damage coming at you, hun. Remember to subtract your soak.
Okay.
Second one is going to fire at Steven because he's cool. He's got 4 advantages, but otherwise misses. So he will pass advantages off to his friends.
I'm a small target.
Yeah. PC turn.
Can I just double check real quick? So I got 8 damage. My soak is 5, so that's 3 to my wounds.
Yep.
Okay.
So pew pew, some lasers go off.
Oh,
One
yeah, I
of them
forgot about
catches
that.
Zamira in the shoulder. One of them flies right over Paquito or whatever his name is today, and hits like a random ISO container back behind him. PC turn.
Cool if I shoot some stuff?
Yeah, go ahead, Tally.
Alright. So I'll go for this guy.
Okay. So he's
And
one of
I'm
the
at-
ones back next to the cart, but he's not the cart pusher.
Okay. I'm at medium range, so I'll use my maneuver to focus, which gives me a boost. Am I getting a boost from Zamira's advantage too?
Sure. I don't remember if she said that she
Yeah,
did,
she
but
passed a
yeah.
boost along.
So I should have 2 blue and 2 purple, right?
One. Did she say she used 3 to give 2? I assume so. So yeah. 2 blue won't.
No, she's asking if she has 2 boosts because she's using focus, and she got 1 boost from Zamira.
Oh, I thought
Right.
Zamira had passed 2 along. So yeah, 2.
That's fine with me too. Don't get me wrong.
You are in medium range still, so it is 2 purple.
Yep. Okay. So I'm just going with 2 blue. Is that okay?
Yep.
I mean, I don't really know if she.
It's-
Yeah. Okay. We'll
yep.
do that.
That's fine. Ooh, threat. You hit the guy, and so 8, 9, 10 damage to that gentleman, minus soak. Cool. Okay, threat has been applied by super secret GM things.
Okay.
Cartman pushes the cart, and one of the other ones is going to shoot and miss Tali. Bloody rolled a shitload of threat. So back on the PC turns, I'm gonna go see what I could use this threat for, or rather, what you guys could use this threat for. But 2 PC turns.
Okay, I'll go next if you don't mind.
Go right on ahead.
Is the cart pusher guy, is he still within medium range of me?
He's at the very edge of medium range.
Okay. I will also use focus or whatever, and so one of Sam's eyes has like a shutter that goes over it, and the other one extends out like Bender from Futurama, and then he lifts his arm up and lines up the shot and fires. So let me get okay. Let's see. I gotta add a boost die. All right. So how the fuck? Okay. So add a boost. And it's 2 threat or 2 difficulty. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 2 purple.
Boop. Oh, I got an advantage. Well, I'll give my advantage to boost freaking Kodo.
You got it.
Woo! Does that mean it's my turn, or?
Told you guys I was
Yep.
going to be super awesome in combat.
So an NPC is going to take a shot real quick, and then Kodo. Ooh, successes. Sam, you are the last person to fire, so I'm shooting you because thinking.
Yay. Do it. Let's do it, baby. Oh, also, I have a defense.
You
Ooh.
cocksucker.
Haha, bitch.
So it's still 3 successes, but he rolled a threat. So I'm going to negate the boost he was passing along. But he is going to hit you, and he's going to be coming your way with 10 total. Keep soak in mind.
Shit.
They got heavy weapons.
Yeah.
They're
That's
thuggies.
like almost all of that's like almost all of my fucking damage.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I've got 1 bronze, so my fucking threshold is 11.
Brutal.
Meanwhile, Zamira's over there with like freaking 19. Top of the order.
17.
So 2 PCs ready to go.
Is it my
Zamira, why
turn?
don't you go first?
Or not?
Get that
Oh,
grenade ready.
shit.
Um,
Kodo.
Oh, sorry.
Kodo. Sorry. Kodo, take your turn.
You guys are fucking
All
up.
right.
You show up
Which
late.
one was the one that just shot Sam?
The one that just shot Sam is one of the ones up by the cart. There are 2 that are closer to you. which have already been shot. But the one that just shot Sam is literally number 5. I'm having them go in the order that they are currently lined up on the map.
I guess I'll shoot. Is the little dot there mean that he's been shot already?
So the one with the
This
dot had a setback, which I'm about to take it away. That guy has been shot already. This guy has been shot already.
I will shoot.
2 and 4 have been shot. My bad.
And 1 and 2 are closer?
1 and 2 are closer. 2 and 4 have been shot. 4 has taken the most damage by far.
I will shoot at. I guess I'll shoot at 4 then.
Okay. If you do not move, it is 2 purple dice. If you do move, it is 1 purple die. If you do not move, you can use your maneuver to aim and add a boost die. Up to you.
Oh, wait. I'll take aim then.
Okay. So 2 purples, 1 blue, and whatever your weapon is.
What is my weapon? It's like a light
So you
blaster.
go to the combat tab and you plugged it all in or whatever. You should just have to add your boost and your 2 difficulty, and then just click on the thing above your weapon input stuff.
So remember that time I was like, "Oh, I never completed my character sheet."
Okay.
I remember that time I told
This
you.
is one of those times.
I remember
Where
that
you're
time I
using-
told you
blaster.
like 3 times to do that.
All right, so under skills, it'll be your ranged light, unless you're using a heavy weapon.
No, it's the light blaster.
Yeah, so it'll be
It is
ranged light.
Okay.
Yeah.
So range light, and then
2 purples and a blue.
2 purples and a blue. 1, 2. Bam. And ranged light. Where are you?
On the right hand side. No, that's the default character sheet.
There you go. Found it. See if I did this right.
Hey, you hit the guy.
Nice.
What's the
Bam,
damage
bam.
on a blaster? Is it what your arm blaster is, Sam?
No, mine's a heavy blaster. It's 6, I believe. Yeah, blaster pistol.
yeah,
Zamira is
Zamira
using a
just
blaster
did what-
pistol. It's 6.
Okay. 6, 7, 8, 9 damage to that guy plus an advantage. Do you want to pass the advantage along, or is there something you want to spend it on?
No, I'll pass it along.
Were you shooting 4 or 2?
I was shooting at 4.
Okay, 4 died.
He did.
He did. Wilhelm scream. He flops on the
Very
ground.
nice.
Oh, I can't.
Top of the order.
Zamira, you want to go first?
Sure. Are you gonna throw a grenade, or can I run in?
I am going to throw a grenade.
Yeah, then you go first.
Oh, you
What the
go.
fuck? Hey, Samir, you want to go
Careful.
first so that I can fucking throw a grenade at you?
Careful of the droid, though. Don't damage it.
So where's the biggest cluster? The guy on the cart was still running away, right?
Yeah, but they're all kind of scooting away from you. So again, combat does not allow for this. You guys are static combatants, but in your mind's eye, you guys are running and gunning. So they are. Cartman is just pushing the freaking cart. The other ones have turned around and are backpedaling while shooting at you, and you guys are approaching, like ducking in between cargo and stuff, and firing off shots while still trying to get to them before they get on the ship. If anyone wants to like duck and stay stationary and actually like use cover behind cargo, that is totally a thing that you can do, but keep in mind that the fight is moving away from you. And they have 45 feet or so to go to get to the ship itself.
So I'll throw the grenade at the guy with the cart.
Okay.
You're gonna break the droid.
We can always repair the droid. We don't want him to get away. Oh,
Nice.
that doesn't work.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know what that means.
All right, it's
Upgrade down,
ranged
upgrade down.
light, so I'll just do my pool manually.
How do
And it's
grenades
one
work in this
purple,
game?
right?
Yeah, from your distance.
You also had a boost.
You do have a boost.
Working on it.
Teach me how grenades work.
All right. It looks like I have to activate blast.
Yes, I remember that being a thing from
No,
the
it
start
says
set.
may also trigger blast if the attack misses.
Right.
If the attack is successful and blast activates, each character engaged with the original target suffers wounds equal to the blast rating.
Mm-hmm. Otherwise, the damage is just to the guy you hit. So
But
a
I think the
successful
blast.
attack, a successful attack hits the guy. A successful attack with blast hits the guy and does the blast damage. A failure, but enough advantages to buy the blast, you can still set off the blast at a less effective rate, I think.
I think this is saying that blast activates if the attack is successful.
Okay.
If it's not successful, you can spend 3 advantage to make the blast happen anyways.
Okay. So what happens?
8 damage plus 6 for blast, so if anyone's engaged with him.
8 damage before soak. The dead body flops over as the blast causes it to roll across the hangar floor a turn and a half. 2 goes down.
Nice.
And 5 takes damage. And we're going to call that good enough.
That's
You
why
killed a
always bring
guy.
grenades.
You hurt some guys. Cool.
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 You would have done more damage, but 4 was already dead. So.
And I actually spent my maneuver pulling the grenade out of my backpack. So
It
I'm
feels
done.
like you should have that in some kind of bandolier.
I do have 2 advantage, so I'll go ahead and pass on advantage to Zamira.
Okay.
Boost to Zamira.
Zamira, do things.
Okay.
You know you want to. Smash him with your axe. You know you want to.
Yes, I do. Is it still 1 purple if I'm up close with an axe?
Yep.
I'll go for. What's the thing on 3 mean again?
I'm just signifying that he's the cart pusher, so I gave him an icon.
Okay, I'll go for him.
Okay. God
Oh,
damn.
hell yes. Oh,
Wow.
hell yes. Oh, that's 8
Okay,
damage.
so
what does a triumph
you kill him. He did. Let's look at what Triumph can do real quick.
do? Oh, that's right. It's like the opposite of threat, isn't it?
No, it's the opposite of despair.
Oh, okay.
Negate the target enemy's defense bonuses, ignore penalizing environmental effects. When dealing damage, have the attack disable the opponent or one piece of gear rather than dealing wounds or strain. Gain +1 melee or ranged defense until the end of the active character's turn. Force the target to drop a melee or ranged weapon that they're wielding. Upgrade the difficulties of target's next check. He did. Upgrade any allied character's next check, including that of the current active character. Do something vital, such as shooting the controls of a nearby blast door to seal them shut. Add a boost to any allied next check. Add a setback to the person that you're targeting. Or
He did.
perform a free maneuver. I'll even let you say you grab the cart if you want to use it for that. You can spend the triumph to have murdered the guy and got one hand on the handlebar of the cart. So if you wanted to start moving the cart back away, but you can impose a setback on either two of the still living guys just because of how fearsome and strong you are, or you can pass boosts to allies. What do you think, hon?
What do you guys think? Should I try and steal the cart, or do you guys want some advantages and such?
They're gonna die, so we don't need to steal the cart,
Yeah.
I'd say.
Oh yeah, I'd say grab advantages and just fucking.
All right.
Or you can
As long as
maneuver to
you're-
the next guy so you're there. for the
Yeah,
next-
that too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
as
could
long
use a
as-
free maneuver to be engaged with number 5 because he's closest to being able to scoop up the cart and keep going.
Okay, I'll do that. Can I do that and like give someone a boost, or?
You don't have an advantage to pass the boost along. If you use the triumph for the free maneuver, you don't have anything to pass along.
Okay, well, I'll
But
just
you
move then.
get free move to get all up in that guy's grill and be super rawr.
Rawr.
Super rar.
Scared
Okay.
my dog.
Your murder lady murdered. It is now their turn. One of them is going to shoot at Zamira, who's all up in his fizzle. One single success. No advantages. 5 damage, hun. Apply soak appropriately.
So if I have 5 soak, that means 0.
Correct.
Okay. So I don't do anything then, yeah.
Nope. Yep, you're good. Paquito, remind me how your size comes into play right now. Does it at all?
No, not at
Okay.
all.
One of them shoots you and gets 2 successes and does 7 damage.
What a dick.
You threw a grenade at his friends. And it is 2 PC's turns. Actually, we'll just go ahead and all 3 PCs can go.
Okay. Tal, you want to
Cool.
go first, or do you want me to do it?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and go.
Yeah,
I will
good.
do pretty much the same thing as before. I'm going to shoot to the number 1 character this time instead of 5 because I'm worried I don't want to accidentally hit Zamira or something. I'll use my maneuver to focus, which gives me a blue, and I'm still at medium, so I should be at 2 purple,
2 purple.
correct?
Yep.
All right. Oof.
Oh,
Okay, well,
you
I
triumphant
gotta triumph.
motherfuckers. You miss, but you can move closer. You can pass boosts along.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and just pass a boost along.
Or
Sam,
you
are you up
can
next,
put
probably?
setback on them, but I feel like if you give boost to your allies, you're more likely to end the fight before they get a turn.
Yeah, I'll just give a boost to Sam.
Okay. All right. I'll go for the same guy. I'll go for 1.
Copy.
I will also use focus. Oh fuck yeah!
Okay,
Nice.
he did.
I did get a threat though. That's not good.
Yep. I'll keep that in mind. And it is Kodo's turn.
I will shoot the remaining not dead guy.
Sam, suffer 1 strain.
Oh, you bastard!
Suck a butt.
I just redoing the same roll as before.
Yep.
Okay.
Unless you move or anything crazy.
Nope.
Currently, it is 2 purple.
Do I get to aim
You
and get the boost?
currently don't have boost from anyone else, but you can spend your maneuver to aim and make it 2 purple, 1 blue.
Yeah, we'll do that. All right, let's go.
That'll do it.
Nice.
So 6 damage, 7, 8, 9 damage, and an advantage. And that guy's already taken 4. Soak. Yeah, he did. Slightly modified to help with the interest of time, but you guys have a shootout and are left standing in a hangar around a bunch of dead Rhodians with a droid on a grav sled or an anti-grav sled, and Paquito has previously called the cops, and the cops are responding to Isotech. And right about
I wondered
there,
when that.
right about there is where we're going to end this session. Again, due to time, we kind of crunched in at the end there. But I enjoyed that you guys wandered about the wheel and did stuff, so we kind of stretched out that middle part just a little bit. But it was fun because you guys got to romp around and have adventures and gamble, and Rick got to have an adventure with a droid who, yeah, he had a little wrestling match and stuff. It was fun.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm still curious if that droid actually did anything to the ship.
Or if I'm just really dumb.
Both are possible.
Column A,
Sure.
column B.
They're not mutually exclusive. But like I said, that's where we're going to pause today's session. So we'll pick up next week with
Okay.
a group of you standing around. Next week, if you guys can play, with a group of y'all standing around a powered down droid, which appears to have survived a grenade blast, and half a dozen
Oh,
corpses.
it's on a sled protecting it.
Right. Didn't you cook your grenade so it airburst?
Yes.
So, no damage to the ships or anything crazy in here, but you guys definitely are standing over a bunch of dead bodies, and you have a droid on a sled, and Steven called the cops. So, bam.
Good first session.
Fade to black.
I'm excited to see what's gonna
This
happen
is
next.
this was good times.
Yes, it was. That was fun.
Bitches, gripes, complaints, questions, anything I can help clear up, stuff about the Sadnala ore. I threw words in the chat, but I did not write you guys notes. That's totally on y'all to
Okay.
keep track of notes, either
Somebody wrote
offline or online or whatever. But
There's a whole bunch of player notes already written down.
Yeah, somebody was writing notes, so whoever did that, awesome, because I suck at player notes, so I'm glad that you're doing it.
I'll talk to you guys in the Discord throughout the week to see whether y'all want to actually start the session on the wheel and have more conversations, or whether in the interest of time, since we have a 3-hour window, you kind of just want to do Discord conversations about what happens to the cops and then getting IT3 on your ship. And I can start next session with a like, in between last session and now, you guys talked to the cops, did the droid thing, and you are now on your ship headed to Cholgana. So totally conversations we can have in Discord, but think about whether you want the session to pick up right here, or whether you guys want to do a little bit of, not necessarily in character RP, but resolve a couple of things in Discord, and then start with a when we last left our adventurers, and like be on the flight.
Okay, cool.
Copy
Sounds
that.
good.
And remember those boosts and setbacks to astrogation checks. Help me remember.
It's in player notes.
Cool. Otherwise,
But
First
that's only-
session.
but that's-
That was fun.
Yeah,
Yep.
but that's only after we get off of the actual trade route, right?
it's on your. I'll go double check on that. It's not important right this exact second, but just remind me to
Right.
go back to that page because of that thing, and I'll see where it applies. Otherwise,
Yep.
I'm gonna have a snack and take a shower.
All right. Just one quick note: you suck, and I hate you. And otherwise, this was super fun.
So, one of the NPCs on the wheel actually had a question, Corey, and
Oh, yeah?
he's gonna wander in while you are all standing over all these dead bodies, and he's gonna walk right up to Sam and go, "Hey, Sam, do you know who does a great impression of an owl?"
Oh God, no! Don't do it.
Good
Who?
night.
Oh, I'm excited
Sam just shakes his head. He's not. No, I don't want it.
I'm actually a little depressed that Rick posted that tweet picture because that was totally going to be a conversation that happened in the bar.
Yeah, and I know that
I
you
feel
were gonna
really
have
bad
me
about
be
that
the
now.
one that fucking heard it too, you piece of shit.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It popped up on my feed and was like, "Oh,
Wait.
you'll love this."
Don't feel bad. He reposted it in our D&D fucking Discord channel and fucking
What's
just to
the
annoy the
joke?
shit out of our DM.
Nice. Huh?
What's the joke?
The
Oh.
coffee and cream one.
Yeah.
In space, no one can hear. Use
Yeah.
cream.
Two astronauts are sitting there, and one goes, "Hey mate, I can't find any milk for my coffee," and the other says, "In space, no one can. Here, use cream."
It's a play off the Alien
That's
tagline.
where I'm going to end the recording.
In space, no one can hear you scream.
Oh.